HD2 Boca Raton, an Odyssey sports station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Fins game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
Nothing is easy for these Dolphins. Tua comes back. First drive of the game. Looks like Tua and the Dolphins of last year. Score a touchdown. Raheem Mostert gets in the end zone. You say, finally, we're going to start rolling. You get up 10-0 at the end of the first. You scored as many points in one quarter than you did all last game. You seem to be pretty solid. You seem to be pretty good. Then all of a sudden, Tua mishandles a snap and there's a safety. Okay, we're fine. We're still up by 8 points. Well, they come down and score. And then miraculously, we stop them on their 2-point conversion. Okay, we'll be fine. We'll be good. Not so simple. Some bad clock management, it seemed like, at the end for the game for the Dolphins. Now we are holding our collective breaths with 35 seconds left. The Dolphins lead the Cardinals 27-25, and the Cardinals are very much in field goal position with the ball, 2nd and 7. They've got Kyler Murray. Unless Kyler Murray makes an absolute boneheaded play, they're going to get a chance to kick a field goal and win this game. A game that they really, I wouldn't say have a lot of business even being in, much less having a chance to win. But the Dolphins just kept letting them hang around. That safety, a couple things had to go their way too. Looked like on a 3rd down, Marvin Harrison Jr. was called incomplete. It was a catch. They go down, drive, score. Dolphins kind of mishandle some things. Time-wise, they could have been burning a lot of clock. It doesn't really seem to matter now. They do not convert. They have to punt. And Arizona, Cam Smith has been getting cooked today too, by the way. So for everyone that was hoping, Cam Smith, he was a 2nd-round draft pick a couple of years ago, didn't play last year because Vic Fangio didn't like him. He's been hurt this year. Maybe he's going to be a really staunch person in the secondary. I'm not going to say he can't be that, but Marvin Harrison Jr. and, of course, Kyler Murray have just absolutely cooked him today. And now they are lining up for a field goal. They have 5 seconds left. They're going to call a timeout, and they're going to kick this field goal. I'm Dan Day, by the way. I don't want to say thank you for joining me because we're kind of going through it. Robert Grieper is with me. Grieper, what is your confidence level on this pretty short field goal that Arizona is about to kick, that it will go in?
The Dolphins' chances right now are slim and none, and Slim has left the building.
Okay, my Game Day Uncensored, because remember, we don't hold anything back. Honestly, I think he's going to make it. The fan in me says, come on.
The guy made a 56-yarder earlier.
Yeah, that one really hurt me too. 57-yard field goal to make it 13-10. Here we go. 34-yard attempt. It is off the left hash. This is to win the game. 25-27, Dolphins lead by 2. The kick is up. And you already know. Yep, we were right. Arizona comes in and defeats the Miami Dolphins 28-27 with a last-second field goal.
Game wowzers.
Dolphins outplayed them pretty much the whole game. Absolutely demoralizing loss right there. The offense looked good. Tua looked good. The defense let us down a little bit today. It's been so good lately. Tua did not handle the ball very well today. He was a little rusty when it comes to that, but I thought overall he looked like he was in mid-season form. But he went for that bomb early in the game, didn't have ball security. It got knocked out. We got it back. No worries. He had that fumble on the snap. He landed on it. No worries. He mishandled. Was it the best snap from Aaron Brewer? No. But should it have been handled by Tua? Absolutely. I'm not going to let Tua slide on this one. 100% Tua should have handled that. It goes in the back of the end zone. It is a safety. It gave them life. From that point on, it was downhill from there. We want to hear from you. 305-567-0560. We do not shy away from your phone calls. We do not shy away from criticism. We do not shy away from anything. I'm not so mad. I thought I was going to be more angry that the Dolphins just let it slip through their fingers. But no, I'm more just, did that really just happen? Tua came back. He looked good. Oh, yeah, by the way, I also want to ask these two quick questions, and then we'll get to your phone calls, 305-567-0560. Number one, for those that say an all-pro quarterback doesn't matter, it's all about a system. No, you saw the difference between what it's like to have Tua, what it's not like to have Tua. And I was going to say with a win, for the people that said punt on the season for the past couple of weeks, are you still saying punt on the season or maybe a little premature? Today's loss, though. Whew. Today's loss was nice. It felt better because we scored more points, but in the end, we still didn't win.
How are you feeling going into Buffalo?
You get Buffalo next week at 1. Team that's owned you. So, yeah, we're going to try to flip the script on that one. Man. Look, I was all ready to come on and say a little premature punting on the season, a little premature saying, Tua, don't ever run again. Tua had a big run in the game, by the way, on third down. We had a good third down conversion until it counted at the very end of the game. Coaching, once again, I'll say this, little suspect from Mike McDaniel and those guys. He won a challenge. Congrats. You actually won a challenge. But after that challenge, when they could have tried to bleed the clock a little bit, we saw Tua at one point snap the ball with 30 seconds left on the play clock, and the clock was running. And then another time with about 10 seconds left on the play clock. 305-567-0560. Let's not play around. 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Neil, the California Dolphins season ticket holder.
All right, glad to have you on, Neil. What's going on? Talk loudly. You got a lot of background noise.
I'm still in the stadium.
Oh, no. What is the feel right now in the stadium?
Well, I won't be back for the rest of the year. Let's put it that way.
So you took the trip from California. You have season tickets, correct?
Yes.
And you came to this game. I'm just more shocked. I don't even know what happened just now. I thought we won that game.
No, it's bad play calling. And this is what I need. I need general manager Chris Greer to be fired today, because then they can start trading players away with somebody else at the helm. I don't trust that guy. We need to start trading some players to rebuild and get something going. The season's over. We're done.
Yeah, Neil, to back up your point, Cam Smith today, one of his second-round draft picks, looked – I know he hasn't had a lot of experience. He looked really bad. He made Marvin Harrison Jr. look like an all-pro.
Yeah. I was here in 1999 to see Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison beat us. Now here we are, the next generation. This is bad.
So, Neil, I want to ask you, punt on the season. Are you at that point yet? Or are you still thinking, hey, look, the offense is starting to come around. We got Tua back.
No.
We look like ourselves. We got our mojo. You're saying, no, we can't even beat the Arizona Cardinals in our place.
No, so we'll end up losing to Buffalo next week. We got the Niners coming in. The season's over. The best we could do is middle of the road. Just punt on the season. Let's hope we get some draft choices. Let's build an offensive line, maybe. We got good running backs. We got a decent quarterback. We get good wide receivers. Let's build an offensive line. Let's go and do that. But Chris Greer, if you're listening, pack your bags and get out of town. Done with you.
Real quick question, Neil. I want to ask you this as obviously a lifelong Dolphins fan, as a fan that flew in from California for this game, a season ticket holder. When you saw Tua fumble that ball out the back of the end zone for the safety, did you start getting that sinking feeling and saying, uh-oh, I've seen this play before?
No. But if that wasn't his fault.
I slightly disagree.
Snapped that way over his head.
No, way over his head?
There. That's my end zone. I literally can see it happening right in front of me where I am right now. That wasn't Tua's fault.
Okay. Happened nonetheless. Well, Neil, safe travels, and I guess we'll see you next year.
I'll be back.
All right. That's Neil in California. Made the trip down for that. Whew. I'm going to have to watch the replay of that too. Would it quote unquote safety? It did not look like the greatest snap in the world, but it did also hit him in the hands. That was what I saw. So maybe other people had a better view of it. I don't know. 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dan. This is Sean from the Funky Buddha. I met you the other night.
Sean, you still punting on the season now?
Man, if I told you, like I told you 3 weeks ago, if you had punted on the season 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't feel as bad as you feel now.
I'm more just shocked. I'm not even like upset or angry. I can't believe that we lost that game.
I really thought the Dolphins were going to take this game. Because I've been a kind of a Tua hater. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a Tua hater, but I'll tell you something. When he gets back in that, when he's with that team, they are magic, man. But hey, listen, it's like a tale of two teams. First the defense didn't play good, and then they played bad, and then they played good again. In the offense, they played good at first, and then next thing you know, they wet the bed. So I don't know what to do. They can't put in a full, complete game.
Man, even after the safety, I still thought we had this game. Even when Jonnu Smith got the big reversal for the third down at midfield, I thought we had the game. Then they started mismanaging the clock, and then all of a sudden we had to punt. Then all of a sudden Arizona got the ball. Then all of a sudden they were kicking a field goal. It's like I blacked out and I just woke up for the field goal. What happened?
What happened to the defense? The defense all of a sudden looked like Swiss cheese. They've been playing great. And then all of a sudden, Arizona went down there with ease, man. And then our offense didn't look too bad. The offense, like the last caller said, I could disagree with him. The offensive line has been playing pretty good.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line was fine today.
So, man, it's just time to let it go and get ready for next year, man.
Two things, Sean. Number one, you have been saying punt on the season every single week on this show. You're starting to sound a little more right. Also, thanks for stopping by Funky Buddha the other night. It was great meeting you.
Dude, let me tell everybody in Miami, Dan Day, people, in case you don't know, that is no stick, that is no put on, that is no act. He is the real deal. He is like that, okay? And he's a real good dude, y'all. Everybody needs to go out to Funky Buddha and pay attention to him.
That's the way it's Sean. And we'll talk to you next week. We got Buffalo next week, so
man.
You didn't think it could get nastier? It might get nastier next week.
Cancel Christmas. It's over.
Do we have to play on Thanksgiving against Green Bay? No, I'm kidding, Sean. I'll see you soon, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother. Take care.
Oh, man, yeah. Sean has called in and said punt on the season. I'm still not ready to punt on the season. The offense looked good today. Tua, that you got to admit, for all those that say it doesn't really matter. Oh, and also maybe a little premature. Some people, now punt on the season, you think maybe a little premature on saying that the league has figured out Mike McDaniel's offense. I think Mike McDaniel just needs that Pro Bowl quarterback in there to do it. So I don't think the league has figured out the offense. I just think that it helps to have a Pro Bowl quarterback in there that knows the system, that knows what they're doing. So I'm not punting on the season yet, although I can justify some people saying that, like Sean, good guy. Also, I don't think the league has figured out Mike McDaniel's offense. I think Mike McDaniel just figured out, and we figured out, you need that all-pro quarterback that knows what they're doing. Still taking your calls, 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Pete in Key Largo.
Pete, give it to me.
Man, listen, we were talking about how good the defense was, and the only reason we gave up 13 points a game is because we allowed 12. And now that we score 27, we give up 28. The defense is weak as hell, and it was a mirage. It was a mirage. The only reason we didn't give up passing touchdowns because nobody had to pass. They could just run it right in, and here we are.
Kyler Murray had himself a day, by the way. 26 for 36,
God, yeah, 307 yards,
so much, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But my question about this, and I wrote this down.
So much for that pass defense, right?
Why even blitz him, man? Because he seems like he's even more comfortable when you send pressure and he can kind of just create. I would have just sat back and said, pick your poison, I guess. But, man, yeah, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
I already knew. It would if we score 27, they're going to get 28. If we score 11, they're going to score 12. It's all a mirage.
Man, let me tell you about, first of all, let's talk about getting cooked, by the way. And I'm trying not to pile on too much on Cam Smith and everything like that.
Oh, my God.
He had a rough day.
Why wouldn't you just switch Ramsey over to him? I mean, that was like...
Didn't we have that problem last year?
Yeah, I know.
So McBride.
What am I supposed to say? Like, he wants to move around. Why don't you stop blitzing and let him cover their receivers?
Man, miss Zach Sealer. That would have made a difference. But, man, Trey McBride.
I know, man.
Their tight end. I mean, first of all, he's a great tight end, so you can't take anything away. But 9 receptions, 124 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., who's having kind of a case of the rookies, and they even said that he and Kyler Murray weren't on the same page. Today, 6 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown, and some great catches.
The quickest way to get on the same page is to play the Dolphins defense.
Yeah, man. Whew. That defense. I get Jalen Ramsey. Kudos to him. I thought he was all over the place. He did get burnt by Marvin Harrison Jr. for that touchdown, but he was all over the field. I can't really. Calais Campbell, he has a heart the size of his chest, and he's a big guy. But
Calais is playing his ass off, man. I feel bad for him.
He came back for a 17th year for this, so he has to play every down, and he knows he can't. Oh man, this defense let us down today. Just what do you want? You want no offense and great defense? You want a lot of offense but no defense? Why can't we have a happy medium?
What is it called? Complimentary football, right?
Yeah, how about some of that, man? I appreciate that, man. Oh, now the frustration's starting to kick in. You can probably tell, Grieper. At first, I was just shocked. Now the shock is starting to wear off, and I'm starting to get upset about everything that's going on. And all the people, 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on here? Calling in. I've had enough of this team. The defense, what is going on? Who's in charge of spying and tackling Kyler Murray? I mean, at some point, it's ridiculous. I don't understand. When we try and blitz him, he escapes the pocket. Chop Robinson, how many tackles are he going to miss?
Chop Robinson was close.
Marvin Harrison.
I think you're going to have to get used to Chop Robinson getting close, but no cigar. And that was kind of his MO coming out of Penn State, and it seems to be his MO now. He'd get close, but he's not going to bring it home.
I understand this. Chop, I understand he's raw, but there has to be other people. There has to be other ones. And Marvin Harrison is going all over us, the number 1 paid corner in the league. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. Javon Holland entered the game early, and then look who goes in. Was it Elijah Campbell? Was it Siren? I couldn't quite see.
Yeah, I think it was Elijah Campbell I saw out there.
Yeah. I mean, we just got to adjust at halftime at some point. I mean, it just gets to the point where it's so infuriating rooting for this team.
I understand what you're saying. That was the thing last year. Vic Fangio. Why is Cater Kahu getting cooked by Stephon Diggs? Why don't they send Xavier Howard over there? Well, then today, why is Cam Smith all over Marvin Harrison? Why don't we switch Jalen Ramsey over there? Why are we not doing that? Is it because, and you know what, if you're saying, well, it's their scheme, well, then they're out scheming us. Then they're out coaching us. 305-567-0560. Let's go back to the phone lines. 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Bill. I'm calling from the Caribbean.
Bill, what's going on, man?
Big Dolphin fan since 1972. I agree with you. I'm not giving up on this team. The offense looked great.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got the running game going. The defense let everybody down today. And I don't remember if you remember the Giants winning the Super Bowl. They were 2-6, I think, and came back and went to the playoffs. So, let's not be negative.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I do want to talk about positives. I love the way, and I'm so proud of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the way they block. They are really committed to blocking. You can tell since, Tua was out and they knew the running game was important. Some of their blocks are just unbelievable. So it's got to give you hope. The offense is coming around.
It's got to give you hope. It's got to give you hope. And this team, I believe this team is going to win some more games. And I'm still positive.
Yeah, look, the offense is coming back around. You got Tua. They seem like they know what they're doing. We know what the defense is capable of. It's just hard times, man. And, it's not how you begin. It's how you finish. I didn't think the Cardinals had it in them to score 28 points today, but they found a way. And that safety, that safety is going to haunt me, man. That safety really haunts me.
That safety also, by the way, that was Tua's fault.
I thought, thank you.
Dropped the ball.
Thank you.
That ball did not go over his head. One last thing.
Yeah, go, please.
I'm so tired of listening to Hollywood every morning on the Joe Rose show. He gave up on this team 3 games ago. This guy, I don't think it's a Dolphin. I don't think he likes the Dolphins. That's
I'm not giving up on this team yet. Now, 2-5 is bleak, and losing to who we've lost to, the Cardinals, the Colts, the likes of that, not pretty. But once again, let's look at the positive. The offense seems to be moving in the right direction with Tua. Tua looks like he is that guy. If you didn't believe it before, you believe it now. And defense, we know what they're capable of. Kyler Murray's tough. Look, and if you're saying you got to scheme up better against that, it's easy to scheme up against somebody, but when you get out there, it's really, really hard to stop a guy like Kyler Murray, who, by the way, hadn't been sacked in 3 games now because he's just that elusive and escapable. So let's not get crazy and say, why didn't we have a better game plan? Because you can game plan for anything. That's what they always say. You can game plan for Michael Jordan, but it's one thing about game planning for it. It's another about playing them. So, yeah, I get you. Let's go. Let's get this win against Buffalo. Buffalo is going to be the week we turn it around. That's what I'm saying. Staying positive, taking your calls. I'm not totally positive, though, right now. So we've gotten one vote that says it wasn't Tua's fault. We got one person that says it was Tua's fault on that.
And here's another one that says it was Tua's fault.
Oh, we got some more people coming. So we want to hear from you, 305-567-0560. Not just was it or was it not Tua. When I say his fault, should he have mishandled it? Was he mishandled or was the snap too bad? I think it was a little bit of both. I think Aaron Brewer could have done a little better job. I think Tua could have done a better job.
And knowing Tua, I'll bet money that he's at the podium saying right now it was his fault because he takes up ownership for everything that goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of person he is that he owns up. He doesn't blame other players on the team. He takes ownership for a loss.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's exactly what he's doing right now.
That offense looks so good, too. It felt good. It felt cathartic, like it was a relief. We're finally scoring, and we're looking better. And Mike McDaniel's play calling is dynamic again because he has a quarterback that understands the system and can do things. And then what happened? What happened at the end of the game?
Well, the thing is, as Al Davis said, just win, baby. You don't win on style points. You win on wins.
We convert on the fourth down. We convert on the third down. We challenge it, and Jonnu Smith gets the first down, and you think, okay, let's just kill their will. We're snapping the ball early into the play clock, early before the clock can run down. Not just the play clock, but the game clock is running at the same time. And then we just it reminded me of Tennessee a little bit last year, the Titans game. We just kind of forgot our identity and forgot who we were. And then we punted, and you knew Kyler Murray's got some magic in him. He's done it before. And then the defense it wasn't just through the air. It was on the ground. It was a full-pronged attack. And you knew Arizona. And then, of course, Kyler Murray ran for the first down, and we'd already used up almost 2 of our 3 timeouts. And you knew at that point they were gunning for that field goal, and they wanted to walk off. That wasn't an upsetting loss. That was just, it startled me. I'm still startled. Arizona's 4-4 in the season too, by the way. Tua Tagovailoa had a good day, 28 for 38, 234 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, but he mishandled the ball a couple times. And the first 2 times it didn't cost us. Third time, though, goes on. Well, whether you believe it or not, and let us know, 305-567-0560. That safety, I thought, let Arizona so much back into the game. They seemed rudderless at that point. And after that, it was just kind of a slow slipping away. 305-567-0560. We're going to get to some stats next, and we're going to hear from you. This is Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM.
Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
What just happened? I was enjoying a Dolphins game. Tua looking good. The offense looking bright. Still pretty much in control. Devon Achane running and catching passes all over the place. Kyler Murray was kind of dancing around, but, I wasn't too worried. And then all of a sudden, wait, what? They're in field goal range? They're down by 2? We lost 28-27? We're 2-5? We got to go to Buffalo next week? You can text in, and we're going to take your calls too in just a minute. 305-567-0560, YouTube, Twitch, 560 WQAM. Somebody said we're going to get killed by Buffalo by 40 points next week. And I put, maybe the Buffalo game is a turning point in this season, for better or worse. It could be you go into Buffalo, you win the game, and you go on a win streak. It could be you go into Buffalo and get mollywopped, and you say, fire and sell it all off because this ain't the team. Could be a turning point next week, for better or for worse. I know you're upset, so I want to hear from you. 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
Been better. I'm still a little shocked. I don't think I'm even angry yet. I'm just shocked what happened. I really thought we were going to win that game. I really thought we were in control. And then just a series of unfortunate events happened, and I woke up and we lost.
I was kind of pissed initially, but I just kind of, we always talk about the heat and we always talk about the culture. There is a culture that has been brewing and being initiated in the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a bad organization. They're much like the Heat are a good organization. Until we stop with this, it's going to change next week, or it's going to change when Tua comes back, and start to take a look at, just the entire organization. Right now, for the ticket sellers, then this is going to continue to happen. And, it can't be both ways. It can't be like the Heat has a great culture and the Dolphins do too, because they don't. And this constant losing, this constant excuse making and stuff like that. I'm a Dolphin fan. I've been so since I was 8 years old. I'm 61 years old. Okay? I'm telling you, this is a bad organization. And this culture needs to be changed. And it's not going to happen in Buffalo. We're going to get our ass kicked up there next week. And, Tua coming back is not the savior and all of this stuff. And that's just how I feel. I'll hang up and listen to you.
Yeah, to speak to your point, look what the Heat have done these past couple of years. 3 decades, 3 championships, multiple runs to the finals, pretty much a perennial playoff team, guys that have won gold medals and guys that have been all pro. And you look at the Dolphins and we can't even win a playoff game. It's been 24 years since winning a playoff game. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you haven't had that many chances to win playoff games either. It's not like you're going every year and you just can't win it. Barely go. You got an organization that got caught cheating multiple times, lost draft picks for it. We got an organization that, questionable drafting. I think all organizations have questionable drafting, but now if the problem is the culture, then the people that are crying for Chris Greer to be fired, they got a point. I don't know what the answer is. I thought Tua came back this week, and I thought our offense started clicking, and I thought, we got a good enough defense. We're going to get past the Arizona Cardinals. That did not happen at all. Ugly resume for the Dolphins this year, too. Not to pile on too much, but you have not had the prettiest of seasons. You barely beat Jacksonville. Terrible. The Bills murdered you. The Seahawks murdered you. The Titans, who are terrible, beat you bad. You barely beat the Patriots, who won a game today. The Colts, who are not very good, you lost to. Cardinals, we'll see. They're 400. They're 500, so we'll see. Not pretty. 305-567-0560. Back to the phone lines, 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? This is Alex from West Palm.
Yeah, I'm shocked, Alex. I really thought we had that one.
Listen, man, it's to the point I was just watching it with my dad that he's even given up.
Man.
He's given up, and he's been a fan since '83. We've been fooled ever since Mike McDaniel got here, and I feel like this thing needs to blow up from the very top.
That is a problem too, because the way I see this team is they've already gotten off to a really bad start. I think they can play out the rest of the season and get some good wins, but that puts you right there in the middle of the pack with a middle of the pack draft pick. And if you don't hit on that, mediocrity is worse than being really good and worse than being really bad. Because at least when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go. When you're mediocre, it breeds more mediocrity.
And how long have we been mediocre for? And going back to even Chris Greer laughing at the media saying that, we're more worried about the offensive line. It's clear that we're better at your job than you are.
I thought the offensive line held up pretty well today too, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, but they'll rear their ugly head later in the season, and I expect this heartbreak in December, but I guess they're just going back to the same old Dolphins at the beginning of the year.
Christmas come early this year if you're a Dolphins fan. Oh, man. 305-567-0560. Back to the phone lines. 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes. Hi. Hello, Dande. My name is Cap for Life.
Cap for Life. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man. Listen, man. Look, what everybody's saying right now, I've learned a lot on these social media streets, and I learned a terminology called both can be true.
Yeah.
At the same time, Tua did keep us in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So my emotions can be kept at a minimum because he did show heart. But at the same time, if we're going to keep people accountable for their actions, that man cost us that game with 10 points up in the fourth quarter, bro. Like, let's be real. I get what people are trying to say. Let's stay positive. And trust me, I've been trying to stay on that positivity train.
For 24 years.
That participation trophy attitude needs to stop. If you know your number one quarterback screwed the pooch, you say it. And at the same time, if you say, hey, he did good until the half, you can say that as well. Both can be true. But for the fans to have to go through this, man, I feel for you guys. Look, I can be going from 0 to 100, but I'm not. Trust me, Dande has heard me get even worse. But I want to hear from everybody else in the community, in the state, in the city, because at this point in time, if you're not going to complain now, then right now you're going to complain on deaf ears, because this cycle ain't going to stop until you, who pay season tickets, until you, who calls into these shows, until you, who spends all your money on pretty much all your hats and jerseys and stuff, start stepping up and start voicing your opinion in a day and age where you're allowed to do that and not get criticized or put on a pedestal at the same time. We're all on an equal playing field right now of trying to voice our opinion, and this show gives you that opportunity, but at the same time, it's not sugarcoat stuff. Our quarterback showed up, but at the same time, he pretty much didn't at the second half, and that's been the story of our season the past 5 years.
Cap for Life. I think it's a little bit of both. I thought the snap was bad. I thought Tua kind of mishandled the snap on that safety. What did you see?
What I saw was a pretty much offensive line that you paid for on the cheap, and you knew what you were getting with Brewer when Brewer came from Tennessee, having the worst offensive line ranking in the league in that year when you signed him. So let's not get to this point of, we should have signed this, we should have signed that. Because you know damn well you paid everybody that was on that field on the offense, and that's why everybody else left last season. So this is on Greer, whether you want to believe it or not. But at the same time, the players that Greer drafted, start taking accountabilities for your actions and stop blaming the fans and using the media as pretty much a scapegoat for not taking accountability.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more accountability around the Dolphins. I thought Tua stepped up. I thought the team reacted well to Tua, but 24 years without winning a playoff game, and this year looks like it could possibly be slipping away. That means there's something wrong with the organization. And if there's something wrong with the organization, then you got to look up. You look up at Chris Greer, Stephen Ross, and start saying, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong here. Arizona can't come into your place like that and steal one, which I still think they did steal one. 305-567-0560. We're going to get to a scoreboard next and take more of your calls. This is Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM.
find new roads. This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding
Sixty Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
We learned today how valuable Tua Tagovailoa not only is to the offense, but to this entire team. It just seemed like the team was totally different with Uno on the field. One thing we may have also learned, he really makes Mike McDaniel look good. We always thought it's Mike McDaniel, it's the system. Maybe through this whole process, we've learned that it's Tua, not Mike McDaniel. The offense looked totally different than when we had our 4th and 5th and 18th string quarterbacks in there. Today we're running hot rod plays, throwing behind our back, tossing the ball around, moving around, throwing bubble screens, doing all this other stuff. If Mike McDaniel's so much of a genius, how could he not scheme up a little something for Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson? But then Tua comes in and it's, woo, willy-nilly, let's throw a party. Now, I understand. Different tool sets. At the same time, you got to be able to figure something out.
I mean, the thing for me is that, and you think the Dolphins would have learned since Joe Philbin, is that if you're going to hire a head coach who actually called the plays where they were before. If you're going to hire an offensive coach,
That's
Joe
true.
Philbin didn't call the plays.
Mike McDaniel did not
Bay.
call the plays in San Francisco. He was the run game coordinator.
Exactly. And so, to me, if you're going to bring in a offensive guru who supposedly knows how to call a game and everything, I kind of would want to actually see them maybe call a game before you hire them.
That's true.
Just a thought.
It's like you have a teenager that's never driven a car. You don't give him the keys to the truck. You get a little work in. Interesting, but Tua is extremely valuable to this team. And now the only question for me, for Tua, at least today, answered is, can he stay healthy? Because he is our quarterback. He's our only hope. He's our only hope. I'm grasping at straws. Let's take a little focus on the Dolphins real quick and get you a scoreboard update. Some of the scores going on around the league right now. Panthers, Broncos. Panthers are up 7-0. Bryce Young, he's in the game. Remember, Andy Dalton got into a car wreck, hurt his thumb? Bryce Young, you know he's out to prove himself. 5 for 5, only 39 yards and a touchdown. Bo Nix, 5 for 6, 36 yards. I'm going to skip that game as far as watching. But nonetheless, 7-0 right now into the first quarter for the Panthers. Classic rivalry, Chiefs, Raiders. Don't count the Raiders out in this big rivalry. I'm telling you right now, it is 7-7. Chiefs might get the first loss tonight. Pop bottles. There's some positive if you're a Dolphins fan. The only undefeated team might get their first loss. 7-7, though. It's the end of the first. Let's hold tight. This is probably one of the more interesting games of the day. The Bears versus the Commanders. Why is it interesting, Greeper?
Number 1 versus number 2.
That is right. Caleb Williams for the Bears versus Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. Number 2, Jaden Daniels got the rib issue, but he's playing, and they're up 3-0 with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. The Bills, our next opponent, played the Seahawks, a team that also whooped. 2 teams that whooped us earlier this year. 7-3 out there in Seattle with about 8:14 left in the second quarter. Saints, Chargers. Guarantee that's going to be a snooze fest. And so far, it has been absolutely that. You got Justin Herbert, who I don't know if he exactly knows how to play quarterback. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. And you got Spencer Rattler, who I know for sure does not know how to play quarterback for the Saints. It's 2-3 right now. Saints are behind.
Sure, that's not the World Series score?
No, they score more points in the World Series than 3-2, and that's at the very beginning of the second quarter. Some scores from earlier today. Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love hurt his groin. Guess it doesn't matter. Their backup quarterback knows what he's doing. His name's Malik Willis, and the Packers, they defeated the Jaguars 30-27. Jordan Love having some durability issues this year, but nonetheless, the team just keeps on winning. Jets, Patriots. Wake me up when it's over. Patriots get their second win of the season. They defeat the Jets 25-22. You want to talk about punting on the season or blowing it up? Your New York Jets radio right now. Is there even a question? Devontae Adams, he'll save the day. Maybe not so much. You had Aaron Rodgers go 17 for 28, 23 yards and 2 touchdowns. He got beat by Jacoby Brissett. 15 for 24 with 32 yards. And if you're wondering, was Devontae Adams here to save the day? 4 catches, 54 yards.
I can sense a darkness retreat coming up.
Oh, yeah, get some ayahuasca. Let's go. Oh, you want to talk about backup quarterbacks that know how to handle business? Cleveland Browns, one of the worst teams in the league. With a quarterback, he may be one of the highest paid guaranteed players of all time. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league, Deshaun Watson, out for the season. And Browns fans, now you should never cheer injuries, but they seem to be very happy that he was not going to be playing. Jameis Winston comes in. And what do? They get a W. But not only do they get a W, they get a win against the Baltimore Ravens, who have won 5 in a row. And a lot of people are saying they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. You wait and see. Jameis Winston, what does he do? Coming off the bench, Deshaun Watson, all that guaranteed money, a cool 27 for 41, 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nick Chubb also, he's back too. 16 carries, 52 yards. Don't feel as bad now. Bengals, I told you they're going to start slow, but they'll catch some steam. They caught that steam today from the Eagles. The Eagles defeat the Bengals 37-17. The Bengals, if you are a fan, it's time to start worrying a little bit. Time to start worrying when the Eagles come into your house and beat you down by 20, and you really didn't do anything in the second half. Texans, they defeat the Colts, but not by the score you would think. 23-20. Colts, Anthony Richardson, 10 for 32, 175 yards, a touchdown, and interception. I guess Dolphins defense is stout. The Titans, who came and whooped our you-know-what on a Monday night, they went into the Lions. It was 14-14 at one point in that game. Final score, Lions win 52-14. Goodness. And the Falcons go into Tampa Bay, although the Buccaneers literally maybe have a couple of custodians playing for them. They're so injured. They lose. The Falcons win 31-26 over the Buccaneers. Tonight, you get a classic matchup, Cowboys versus 49ers. Then Monday Night Football, New York Giants versus the Steelers. Still taking your calls, 305-567-0560. We'll hear from Mike McDaniel at some point later on. I'm not in a hurry to hear what Mike McDaniel has to say. No, I'm going to guess it's a whole lot of, it's on me to make that happen, to make the stop. Well, what happened with the safety is that Tua and Aaron Brewer, they don't really have a connection. You have to ask. So we'll hear from Mike McDaniel later on, but we still want to hear from you. 305-567-0560. Back after this on Gameday Uncensored 560 WQAM.
AM Miami, WPOW HD2 Miami, WKIS HD2 Boca Raton, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored Post-Game Edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Finns game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
For a while there, it felt like the good old times. Tua was back. Tyreek Hill was eating. Waddle was eating a little bit. Devon Achane looked like our featured back. And he is our featured back, by the way. But Raheem Mostert was still getting some touchdowns. Remember how many he had last year? Mike McDaniel was calling up all types of crazy plays. We looked like we were in control. Get the safety off of either the bad snap or the mishandle or both, whatever. Then all of a sudden, it's a 2-point game, and you're saying, oh no. But don't worry about it, baby. We got this. We drive the field. Raheem Mostert, I wrote down, Raheem Mostert's touchdown with 12 minutes left in the game. So with 12 minutes left in the game, up by 9, I said, that's a get-right touchdown. And I figured, we've weathered the storm. We're good. Nothing good happened after that 12 minutes, except Mike McDaniel won a challenge. That was the best thing right there. We won a challenge on a 3rd down and inches. We got a 1st down, and we proceeded to do absolutely nothing with it. Punted away. They came down, kicked a field goal, won the game. Won the game on the last second. The Arizona Cardinals, 28-27. We scored 27 points. Gave up 28. A loss is a loss is a loss is a loss. It doesn't feel as bad, I guess, because we finally scored. You feel like you were somewhat unshackled. But, how do you feel? 305-567-0560, 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Ivan from originally from New York City. I'm a season ticket holder, out of town season ticket holder.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you right now, it's misery. I emailed the Dolphins after the Buffalo game, telling them if they don't fire Chris Greer after this season, I'm not renewing. My whole crew's not renewing. Chris Greer, in 24 years with this organization, I'm going to ask you a question. How many All-Pros has he drafted?
Not many. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
One.
Minkah Fitzpatrick?
Nope. Well, that's remained with the Dolphins.
No.
It's been one, Xavier Howard. Chris Greer is the single biggest reason why this team continues year after year to disappoint fans. The guy is horrendous at his job. It's beyond me how he keeps his job.
You do bring up a good point. He's never won a playoff game as our general manager. Should he not be held to a higher standard?
Absolutely. And he's been with the organization since 2000 in some way, shape, or form. So let's put the dots together. The organization has drafted players in this guy's mold from the time that he started as, I think he was a lead scout back in 2000, and he worked his way up. Been nothing but soft players, guys that get hurt, older guys. I mean, I don't have any words anymore. I've been a fan since 1985. I was 10 years old when I understood football, and I'm at my wit's end.
Ivan, this year does seem to magnify some of the what would you say drawbacks of Chris Greer for laughing about the offensive line, which I thought the offensive line was okay today. Not getting a backup quarterback. Not drafting the way he should have. Cam Smith looked really not great today, and that was one of his draft picks. More recently, he hasn't won playoff games as a general manager. He hasn't won divisions, really. Yeah.
Yep. And extending players that, look, listen, Tua's a good guy. Obviously, the team is better when he's in, but let him play his 5th-year option. Let him earn that money. Now we're stuck with this contract. They can get after this year, but
that's a good thing you bring about.
Waddle,
for everyone saying blow it up and punt and all this stuff. We got big contracts that are extensions that we can't just dump off somewhere. A team has to agree to take these receivers or this quarterback or not the coach, but it's not as easy as just let's just blow it up. Like, what if we can't get rid of these big contracts that we've signed everybody to?
And Waddle getting this extension too. This guy's good he had a huge drop today.
Yeah, he did have a big drop.
Every game he's good. Yeah,
every game he's
good for 1 to 2 drops.
Could have been a touchdown. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ivan, man. Well, hopefully they turn the season around. They get you back in the stadium. We're hoping. I mean, the offense looked better today. The defense did not look as good today. They were a little demoralized after the safety and being on the field a lot, but I thought they were moving in the right direction. I thought we were the better team today. That's why I'm still kind of shocked. I feel as though, seriously, and Grieper has been here the whole day. I have not had a drop to drink today. I felt as though I blacked out, and then you and I looked up at the TV, and I saw Arizona kick a field goal and win the game. What happened?
Mike McDaniel happened.
Is it Mike McDaniel?
I mean, I'm sorry, but the play calling down the stretch
after that Jonnu Smith reversal,
that challenge,
you and I were sitting there saying, "Why are they snapping the ball with 30 seconds left on the play clock when there's 4 minutes left in the game, and you have a chance to just run the clock, or at least try to run the clock out, drain the clock?"
I mean, obviously, it really didn't make a difference at the end because they couldn't stop them on in 3 downs, left and right going down that last drive. I mean, they went up and down that field on the Dolphins at that last drive.
Marvin Harrison, I'm sorry to Cam Smith. Yeah, he burned Cam Smith a lot, especially on that last drive. But don't forget, Jalen Ramsey got cooked on that out route that scored a touchdown.
Marvin Harrison, the thing is that, you got to look at this offense that you're facing is that Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Connor, and also Kyler with his legs. They have so many weapons out there. And right now, we know this Dolphins defense is a mash unit right now. We know that, okay?
Yeah. And Zach Sealer didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, losing Zach Sealer for this game, losing Holland during the game, for whatever you want to say, Storm Duck being out, those are guys that would have obviously been factors in this game right now that you could have used to cover up Harrison, to cover up Kyler, to cover up Connor, to cover up McBride. But unfortunately, you have to go with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it wasn't good enough.
Obviously not. Kyler Murray looked like he could get whatever he wanted, and kind of did, especially on that last drive when they were, I think it was 3rd and 3, and we had just used 2 timeouts. It was a chance to at least stop them and get the ball into his hand for the end. He just took the ball on himself like a true Patrick Mahomes might do, run the ball, get a first down. From there on, it was just pray that the field goal kicker misses, and their field goal kicker is pretty darn good, by the way.
Yeah, the only thing that the Dolphins could have hoped for is that by putting pressure on Kyler that he made mistakes, and he didn't.
Kyler made no mistakes today. Well, when I say no mistakes, no interceptions, no fumbles. I wish our quarterback didn't fumble. That was tough. 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, what's going on? Doing a little something in his car. I don't know what the hell that was about. 305-567-0560. 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Henry. I'm calling from. I'm from Miami normally, but I moved up to North Central Florida. I just left the game. Completely disappointed. I was on board with the last caller. I think Tua, he's good, but I think this is the best version of Tua we're ever going to get with McDaniels, and I think everybody knows our playbook anymore, and he continues to run the same freaking plays over and over. They keep you always on the edge of your seat, and at the end of the day, they always find a way to disappoint you. We got that challenge right, and then boom, 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 3 and out, and there we go. Disappointment. They came down, marched down the field, game over.
Yeah.
I'm driving back home. I got a 4-hour drive. Me and my son are like, damn, man.
I felt it like this. Like I said, the safety, I was okay. I thought we were still in control. I thought we were good. And I even, like I said earlier, 12 minutes left. Raheem Mostert gets the touchdown. We're up by 9. I say, okay, let's just close this thing out. And then after that, Jonnu Smith reversal call for 3rd down, or it would have been 4th down. I started getting that sinking feeling. That's when I started going, oh no.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I felt.
The mismanagement, and I don't understand the mismanagement of the clock. It didn't really matter, but still, you do those little things. That's what a good organization does. They do the little things right. We were not doing little things right. When you don't do little things right, big things you start doing wrong. And you knew Kyler Murray, when he got that ball, was going to find a way to come down, drive down the field, and get a field goal position.
100%. And now we're stuck with them with the contracts, like that guy said. And I'm like, I went to the UM game the night before, man. I'm looking at Cam Ward, and I'm like, oh, my God, if we had this guy.
Man, I thought Tua looked great. I mean, I guess after the abysmal quarterback play we've seen the past couple of weeks, I thought I was refreshed watching Tua.
I think that's what it is, because we've had like crappy quarterback play, so now we're like, yeah, he's back, but
comparably great.
Tua's just, but I think Tua's good, but he doesn't he can't get above that. Past that, like popping off the screen, making a play, extending a play where he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just, the play's got to be perfect. The McDaniels call's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be in stride.
So maybe we can say this. I think maybe it's one of those things. Tua is, when I say a second-tier quarterback, you have the top-tier quarterbacks, like the Patrick Mahomes. Of course, we know that. I'll put Lamar Jackson there because I do believe in Lamar Jackson. But then you have that next tier, which is still very good, but it's not that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that we're just stuck. We're like, that's it. This is what you're going to get. And I feel like it's so stressful. Like, oh my God, it's so there. Like last year was our window. And then bam, as soon as we hit Dallas, it was like, I saw the trajectory the opposite way. I'm like, oh my God, this has been happening since last year already.
We've been god awful since that Christmas Eve game. I'll be honest with you. We've been god awful. We had a chance to beat Buffalo at the end of the year and be a 2 seed and not a 7 seed. We screwed that up. And ever since then, I mean, there has not been a lot of, when I say a lot of highlights, games as far as highlights, I mean, our 2 wins this year were not very good wins. Today was a shocking, and not embarrassment. It's just, don't understand what happened. It's not been good. Yeah. It's not been good.
It was looking good. The energy was good in the stadium. We were pumped. And then it was just like you said, the safety, and then it was like a trickle down effect. And we're like, I'm already like, oh no, here we go.
One more
and
quick.
It's just like field goal, that last touchdown to make us feel, oh, we got it. And then we got that challenge, man. And after that, it was like 3 and out. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. One more quick question. I do want to ask you this. Were you one of the people in the crowd when Tua took off for that quarterback sneak or quarterback run going, slide?
The whole stadium went, no, slide, everybody.
You can hear it on
I'm
TV.
getting group texts from my boys in Ocala. We're firefighters, and we always watch the football games. And they're texting me, hey, Henry, did you clinch? And I'm like, the whole stadium clinched.
You could hear on TV, slide.
I heard the MRI machine's fired up already. I'm worried, man.
Henry, man, appreciate you, man, and the great work that you do out there in Ocala, man.
Too, bro.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit, but you could verbally, not only could I hear myself going, oh, slide. You could hear the crowd going, slide. And then they just erupted, rightfully so. I mean, very, very smart move, very good move, but also very encouraging move. And, a good confidence move for Tua Tagovailoa. It helps. The whole stadium tells you, slide. Call 305-567-0560, 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Josh from North Palm Beach.
Let's go, Josh. What you got?
I'm about to lose my mind, guys. I'm not even joking. I mean, I've had the trifecta of disasters in my life. I have my parents, season ticket holders of the Jets. My wife's family, Patriots season ticket holders. We just drove from North Palm to see this disaster. We hold season tickets. I mean, when you have an entire division full of general managers and VPs of talent relations and operations that couldn't spell cat if you gave them a C and a T when it comes to football, and they run this entire division, the Dolphins can't figure out a way to at least make the playoffs. And on a year where we have all these teams, Brady's gone, Belichick, everybody's gone, and we still can't figure out how to win. I mean, it's an embarrassment. And the Bills, not far behind. They're about a rung above all of us.
Yeah.
This whole division, the NFC least, needs to just go away. They are terrible. The Bills haven't won anything, so it doesn't even matter. You don't get a trophy for second place. This entire division is horrible. I don't know why. Listen, Tua's our saving grace, and he's one concussion away from a vegetable. That's how bad we are. And that's the problem that I'm having here. The Jets, I just watched their game too. Another disaster. You lose games to really bad teams, and you don't take opportunities, and then you never catch up towards the end of the season. And like you said, they went from a 2 to a 7 seed last year, and it's no different. They may not even make the playoffs this year with this horrible schedule that they have. They got to play the Bills next year. And to be honest with you, it doesn't even matter because they're so bad that even if they wouldn't even tank the season, they wouldn't know how to. They'd be the team that if you try to tell them tank the season, they'll win 7 games and end up, 20s in slots to get a draft pick.
Yeah, you're better off not trying to
tank.
tank. You're probably better off not trying to tank than actually tanking because you probably do that wrong also because they've done that wrong in the past, by the way.
I'm completely embarrassed. The drive back, my wife's driving because I'm like I can't even drive.
Well,
I really can't.
Here's the positive: if you had a choice between right now who's in the best position between the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots, you'd have to say the Dolphins are in the best position.
100%.
That's terrible
100%
too, by the way.
in the best shape. But to say that's like having the cleanest dirty shirt in prison. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have the shortest rope, the shortest rope for the soap that falls in the prison yard.
Yeah.
This team sucks, and it's terrible, and they're a lot better than they should be. And guess what? The only thing that's going up ain't the wins. The concessions, the tickets, and these bloated salaries are what's going up every single year. And I don't know what Jeffrey Ross is doing other than putting, he wants racing and tennis. Why don't you focus on the team, Jeffrey? Because there's nothing else going on. The most people you get in your stadium with a level of excitement is when you bring the U.S. Open. You should be embarrassed by yourself and sell the team already.
Grieber, season ticket holders, nothing's getting cheaper. Nothing's getting easier. Parking's tough. Traffic around there, tough. Tickets expensive. Now the games are tough. Ride or die, but there's only so much you can ride after a while.
Well, first of all, it's Stephen Ross, number one.
Right.
And number two is Jeffrey Ross is roasting us right now because this team is, killing us. But if you really think about it, and this is the part I don't really blame Stephen Ross on. I mean, I do blame him on losing the first round draft pick. I blame him on losing the third round draft pick that they did in the past for trying to get Sean Payton and trying to get Tom Brady. Those I blame him for. However, the thing I do agree with him is that he has a open wallet for this team.
He does.
Whatever, the football operations want, he does. So you got to give him credit there. Now, mind you, the moves that his football operations staff have made, that's where the problem comes in is that if you're going out there, do you believe that Chris Grier should be in charge of the wallet? That's a question that a lot of fans have right now. Should Mike McDaniel be the one calling the plays? That's another one that people have problems with. The ones I don't, that I do agree with at least is that anybody out there would have signed Tyreek. Anybody out there would have signed Waddle. And to be honest, you could make all your complaints of whatever you want about Tua, is that anybody would have made that deal for what he signed for. Some people might have said, oh, do the 5th-year option instead, due to his injury history. But as we saw last year, he was injury-free last year, and then unfortunately another one happened this year when he actually lost the weight that he packed on last year. He learned the jiu-jitsu, as we all saw. He did things better. But, you can't blame the offensive line right now. I don't know about you, but I didn't see any sacks out there today. So, the way I look at it is that with this team right now, they are snake bit. They just really are. And the problem is that you were facing an easy schedule to start the year.
Yeah.
And now you have a murderer's row out there where, to be honest, these are games that you shouldn't win that you're now going to have to win.
But it's not as much of a murderer's row as we originally thought. Yes, you get the Bills next week at the Bills. That's probably not going to be any fun. You get the Rams. You don't know what type of Rams team you're going to get. The Raiders aren't that great. The Patriots are terrible. Green Bay on Thanksgiving night. No matter who's quarterback, whether it's Jordan Love or Malik Willis, they keep winning. The Jets look absolutely terrible. The Texans are going to probably beat you. The 49ers are probably going to beat you. The Browns, you can win. The Jets, you can win. Where does that lead you? Right down the road to mediocrity. Yay.
At best.
Yay. Yeah, we've actually improved this week from being a bad team to a maybe lower, fair to Midland mediocre team.
Yes, but with the players that you have on this roster, is that where you should be?
No. And
exactly.
With the way you're paying people, that this is what I brought up during the week. Mike McDaniel said, well, don't give Tyreek and Jalen Waddle a hard time because a lot of the things they did weren't on the stat sheet. Well, guess what? We're paying Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa to show up on and off the stat sheet. That's not acceptable to say, oh, they're doing a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. I appreciate those things, but you're not making money to be an off the stat sheet type of person. You are making money to be on and off the stat sheet. Great job this week by Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle blocking. I love their blocking. They're not just paid to block. They're paid to catch passes, break plays, make plays.
You're getting paid to win. That's it. And if you can't do that, then there needs to be a change. And that's as simple as it gets, is that, being mediocre, not making the playoffs is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it has to be unacceptable. Has to be. I thought Tua was great today. I thought Tua proved his play on the field and the way he led this team was worth every penny we paid him. His health might be the question. You say maybe he wasn't worth every penny. Time will tell with that. We'll keep taking your calls. 305-567-0560. Back after this on Game Day Uncensored.
For Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
I'm starting to more and more talk myself into not being very happy with Chris Greer and the Dolphins organization. They have no plan B, it seems like. Tua's hurt. Javon Holland's hurt. No backup plan, no nothing. You look at other teams, they do have backup plans, like the Green Bay Packers. Malik Willis, he's a nobody. He's never going to be a pro quarterback. Well, he's 3-0. And since he's played for the Green Bay Packers this year, and they've needed him because Jordan Love's gone down, he won another game today. I'm not saying Cleveland's a great place, but Jameis Winston comes in. Joe Flacco. A little bit of planning, just in case you have a quarterback that has injury problems, goes down. There just seems to be no backup plan for anything. And you look at the difference, and this is something you can quantify. Baltimore Ravens a couple of years ago, Lamar Jackson goes down. Tyler Huntley comes in, wins games, almost wins a playoff game. Tyler Huntley comes into this organization and looks like not even a deer in the headlights, looks like a blind bat. What's the difference between the Baltimore Ravens organization and the Dolphins organization? I don't know. You plan for what you have, and then you plan for what you don't have and what we're going to need in case that happens. And you do the best you can. It just seems like, I was like, Tua's out. Maybe he'll be back soon. He gets back. By the way, everything was fine at halftime. We're back, baby. We got this. No, we didn't. 305-567-0560. Back to the phone lines, 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Moses from Kendall.
Hey, Moses, what's on your mind?
Happy Sunday to you.
I'm somewhat happy, but these Dolphins, man, they're making it tough.
The real problem is owner Steve Loss. If you think about it, with his tenure, we went through Bullygate, Bradygate, coaches using drugs and professing their loves to a stripper in a Dolphins locker room. And if all that was not enough, the owner says that he cares more about Michigan than he does about his own team. So what he has right now is a frat house in Davie. Players want to come down here, and coaches want to come down here because they know he's an easy mark, and they can party all season, and they don't care. And it's evident on the field. You can see they don't care. Fangio even said it. He said the team parties too much. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and look at their coach. He's not exactly a disciplinarian. Mike McDaniel isn't known for cracking the whip too much on these guys.
McChicken. His name is McChicken.
Yeah, well, like I said, what do you think? There's a major difference between an organization like the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. You think there's a difference between those two organizations?
The only thing that saves the Miami Dolphins, they got to bring in Deion Sanders, prime time, baby.
Wow.
They bring in Deion Sanders, the NFL will back us up. Maybe let Steve Loss be a 50% owner and bring in a real owner and get Deion Sanders and beg for the forgiveness of Flores and let those two combine. Then you got a chance.
You know
got
what?
no chance with what you got now.
Drastic thinking, man. Sometimes it's the best way to go. I don't know if that's the answer, but that is a drastic measure right there. Deion and Brian Flores together. Deion says he has no desire to coach in the pros, so that means in 2 years from now he'll be somewhere in the NFL. 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Mike from Lake Worth. How you doing?
Mike, glad to hear from you. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just want to say I think it's a colossal failure that they got Chop Robinson instead of Connor Barton as the best interior lineman on the inside there. And, I mean, what has Chop Robinson got? Half a sack this year? And you got to build yourself around that offensive line so your skill players got an extra half second to get open. I just think, it's the same old thing with the Dolphins, and I just wanted to rant. But I got some good news about that. I met Mad Dog Mantis' son on the spiral today, and that kind of made my day out of everything. He had the 88 jersey, and I said, hey, I was a big fan. He said that was my dad. So it all made it worth it, even though we lost.
Oh, man. Well, hey, I'm glad there's some positives to glean from today. The positive for me today, I didn't meet Mad Dog Mandage's son, but I did see Tua look good. I saw Tua look comfortable. I saw this offense look like it did, or at least I expected it to like it did last year, and what I expected to look this year. Go into Buffalo, and we'll see what happens. 305-567-0560. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jackson Lazar.
What's going on, Ashton?
Jack. So I just got back from the game, right? It was like really horrible when the Cardinals beat the Dolphins by 1 point. But like, you got 3 wide receivers, right? And those 3 wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham, right?
Yes,
and Odell Beckham didn't get a single catch.
Yeah, he was MIA. I forgot he even plays on the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And defense looked horrible. Offense looked like it normally does. But, like, defense didn't really, like, step that up, though.
Yeah,
They didn't really, like, we were, like, winning, like, by, like, a lot of points, right? And, like, defense should have said, oh, hey, like, we have to be, like, ready, and we have to be, like, focused, and we have to, like, this is our drive to, like, win us this game.
Yeah, I know. It would be fun to have an offense that was clicking and a defense that's been playing like it has in complementary football, man. So, yeah. And, yeah, our receivers have been less than stellar this year. They have not been jump off the page, and appreciated the call. Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill had a better day. Jalen Waddle had a better day with Tua, but it wasn't, once again, we can look at the stats. It wasn't one of those days where we're like, wow, man, they really, 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 got it rolling and going, and they couldn't believe what was going on. And how, no, I mean, Devon Achane was your best player pretty much today. You had Tyreek Hill, 6 catches, 72 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 45 yards, a big drop close to the end zone. Jonnu Smith, 4 catches for 20 yards. We go to Alec Ingold a lot too. Alec Ingold, 3 catches for 19 yards. Devon Achane was a monster today, though. 10 carries, 97 yards rushing. He also had 6 receptions for 50 yards and that 1 touchdown. Julian Hill, so close to getting in the end zone with that flip, and then he fumbled the ball, and we're lucky we got that back. We got lucky a lot today, Grieper. I'm realizing Tua fumbled 3 times today, technically 3 times. The first one in that first series bounced on the ground. He got it. Fumbled a snap. He landed on it. Whether you want to say it was a bad snap or Tua mishandling, that cost us a safety. That also cost us a lot of momentum. And then you had Julian Hill with the fumble right at the goal line. We got that one back. So we kind of got lucky. We dodged a couple of bullets today.
Yeah, but the thing is that coaching is the big concern I have for this team right now, is that if you look at good teams out there, if things aren't working, the adjustments is the way that you win the game. Is that, as you saw what was going on in this first half, Arizona was losing in the first half, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They come out of halftime and they come out. They made changes. Whereas the Dolphins are stubborn. They're going to shove it down your throat and say, we're going to do things our way and we're going to win our way. And if we lose, that's losing our way, is basically where we're at. And unfortunately,
Mike McDaniel doesn't do a lot of adjusting, it seems like, at least to the naked eye.
And that's the thing that, now, I know we spoke about this a couple weeks ago as well, is that I'm kind of wondering, and we'll never know the answer to this one, is how much of this is McDaniel's play calling and how much of it is audibling at the line.
Yeah.
I remember years ago when Marino was the quarterback here, and that's the thing that won the games for Dolphins a lot of times, was he would make those split-second audibles and win the games by doing it that way, because he saw something when he came up to the line and he changed the play. We're never going to know, is McDaniel's play the problem, or maybe our quarterbacks are not seeing what's actually being presented to them.
Yeah. Tua still looked good today. The offense looked good today. Defense took a step back. They were on the field a lot. And if you don't think the safety cost us, final score was 28-27. Cardinals win. 305-567-0560. Let's take another quick phone call. 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from County.
Go ahead. What you got?
Well, I got 4 complaints. Actually, the Jalen Hill fumble, the McDaniel total difficult offense. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why is he playing Tua so conservative by running plays. Hill got 72 yards. Jalen Water got 45 yards. No touchdown. This is not the Dolphins.
I hear that.
So it got and based on what you're speaking of, for the snap goes, I would blame them on the center because you got to look at the high snap that the two are here to do it, call it a safety.
Okay.
So I would say put that on. I would say the safety, the center, cause that they playing afraid. They playing like they're scared to get to a not hit. So if you're playing like that by doing these running plays, why we still got Tua?
Well, Mike McDaniel says he's trying to establish the running game. He's trying to establish a running game. He says this is what he's always wanted it to look like. So, but you know what? You got these 2 Ferraris, so you're going to cannibalize yourself from passing by doing more running, though. It's hard to figure out what Mike McDaniel's thinking.
I mean, the run game there. I mean, we all see that. Let's work what we paid. We paid Tua. We paid Hill. We paid Waddle. These guys, we have paid these guys pretty much money. Then we got Junior over there. Beckham. Let's let's be realistic here. Ain't nowhere in the hell that the Arizona Cardinals, and then let's look at our defense. We can't only get blame it on our offense. No, we can't only do that there. Cause ain't nowhere in the hell that Arizona came back and stole and beat us by 1 point, 28-27.
You're right about that. I thought we were the better team throughout until that last. I keep going back to this until that reversal of that Jonnu Smith, when they said it was going to be 4th down at midfield and they reversed it and gave us a 1st down. Nothing went right for the Dolphins after that point. There was like 4 minutes left in the game. Everything went wrong. And it started once again. It's the little things. Grieper and I were in there watching and we said, why are they snapping the ball with 30 seconds left on the play clock and the game clock's running? Why not run the play clock and game clock down as much as you can? And you might say it doesn't matter because we went 3 and out and they got the ball back and they do this. Well, you know what good teams do? They do good things, big and little. And, maybe it didn't, quote unquote, directly affect it. But when you start doing things the right way and doing good things, other good things follow. It just, and we're going to get back to, it could be the culture. But that's, okay, and I'm not saying it's all bad coaching. Tua Tagovailoa, you've played this game for a long time. Look up at the play clock and go, oh, crap, the game clock and the play clock are both running. There's only 4 minutes left in the game and we have the ball. It's 1st down. I'm just going to wait. And if they go in your ear and they go, snap the ball, hurry up. What are they going to do? Pull you? Who are they going to put in there? Tua, you should be playing the way you want to play. That's frustrating. I mean, I doubt Mike McDaniel was in his ear saying, hurry up, hurry up. Snap, just wait. Say you were confused. And once again, Grieper, if Mike McDaniel gets mad at Tua, what can he do to him?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, what's your alternative? Seriously, at this point,
take his helmet. You're not going back in, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, we didn't have a 3rd backup quarterback today. We only had him and Skylar Thompson.
Well, because nobody else is healthy.
But what I'm saying is, Tua, what are they going to do to you? You weren't supposed to throw that ball to Tyreek Hill 3 times in a row. All right. Help me out here.
It makes no sense. I mean, they were basically playing like it was a 2-minute drill there. And I don't understand that, is that
they had the lead.
When you have a 2-point lead with 4 minutes left in the game.
And you have a 1st down.
Run the ball, eat the clock up. That's what you should be doing. And it made no sense to me what their play calling was and what they were doing out on that field. It made no sense whatsoever. And I just don't understand what you're thinking. Now, every so often, when you're trying to eat the clock going down the stretch, you do throw in a passing play because you want to switch it up and catch them off guard. That happens every so often, but that's not what they did.
The problem with it is not that it happened today. We've had this argument before. Tennessee Titans game. What are they calling? Why can't they get a first down? All the 2-minute drills during the beginning of the season, they don't seem to have a sense of urgency. What are they doing? We've said this multiple times. So it's a repetitive feature of this offense and this team and this coaching staff. If it happens once, shame on you. Happens 2, 3, 4 times, shame on us. We're going to take a break and get a scoreboard so I can calm down here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
Postgame edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Back with you on Game Day Uncensored. Gonna get to your calls 305-567-056. You can also text in at that number. You can also jump on the YouTube and Twitch feed, and you can put your messages there. In just a little while, we're going to call my cousin Vladimir Louison, who is at the stadium. We also did some interviewing with some of the players in the locker room. Going to get a feel for what the stadium was like, what the locker room was like, how the players are feeling. And then we'll hear from Mike McDaniel, and I'm going to warn you, Mike McDaniel is going to live up to the Game Day Uncensored title of this show. He is spicy right now. And looks like he's cracking. Sounds like he's cracking a little bit. Greeper, I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds like Mike McDaniel, this one might have hurt him a little more than usual.
I would think it would. I mean, the way this team has been going, I mean, what is the breaking point at this point?
He sounds like he's cracking just a little bit. And
I mean, you lose to the Titans at home.
Badly.
You lose
Buffalo.
to the Cardinals at home.
Just shockingly.
I mean,
you lost to Buffalo really badly.
Well,
Colts got you.
You weren't even on the field on that one, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get to the JM Lexus player of the game. I want to talk about players that made a difference today that were great. It is time for the JM Lexus player of the game. At JM Lexus, it's the perfect time to catch the deal you've been waiting for as the Golden Opportunity sales event continues. Don't miss your opportunity to score even more now at JM Lexus. I'm trying to figure out who I want to give my game ball to, and I was going through it all, and I was like, maybe Tua Tagovailoa. He really sparked the offense. Everyone was so happy at first. 28 for 38, 234 yards, a touchdown. Even had that run, the 13-yard run where he slid. But Raheem Mostert, he had 2 touchdowns. Looked like, and getting back to form, or last year I scored 30 touchdowns. But he's 9 carries for 19 yards. I don't know. Tyreek Hill looked better today. He was 6 receptions with 72 yards for the best quote-unquote player in the league. I don't know. Jalen Waddle, better. 4 for 45 yards and a big drop that may have been a touchdown or not. Not really. No. Jonnu Smith, 4 receptions for 20 yards. No. But then you go to the defensive side and you say, defense, man, Kyler Murray put up over 300 yards, and at the end of the game, they couldn't stop anybody. So my game ball, though, it's going to go on the defensive side. A guy that I was impressed with, although he did get burned by Marvin Harrison Jr. for a touchdown. I'm going to go with Jalen Ramsey. I thought Jalen Ramsey was all over the field. He was in on every play. He was around the ball all the time. He had 3 tackles, 1 assist. He had that batted down ball from Kyler Murray early in the game. And I just thought his motor never stopped. And he played with a heart of gold, and he played hard, and he was always right around the ball, always in the right position. Except for that one Marvin Harrison Jr. catch for a touchdown. But nonetheless, every time I looked up, I saw Jalen Ramsey doing Jalen Ramsey things and being the best player that he could be. So I'm giving my game ball to JM Lexus, to Jalen Ramsey. Greeper, who are you giving your game ball to?
I do agree with you on Jalen Ramsey. He was a Swiss Army knife out there. Wow. I mean, anything that Weaver asked him to do, he did.
He was blitzing, he was covering, he was spying, he was making sure the Gatorade was cold. I mean, he was everywhere, man.
He did it all. But my game ball is actually going to go with Achane because just under 150 yards of offense he had today alone, between rushing and receiving today, including the over 40-yarder that he had today. He was a one-man wrecking crew out there. And to be honest, I didn't understand why they didn't force him some more. I mean, the guy was averaging almost 10 yards a carry out there.
I will say this, as I watched Devon Achane today with those numbers, 10 carries, 97 yards for an average of almost 10 yards a carry. He also did it on the receiving end, 6 receptions for 50 yards and that 1 touchdown. Number one, he is the real deal. I think we already knew that. He is a true home run hitter. I think we already kind of knew that, but let's not play around anymore. He is our feature back.
He is. And the thing is, the only difference that, and this is where I will give Mostert credit for, is if you need more of a tougher yard, that's where Mostert would come in there. But if you want to get something out of nothing, that's where Achane gets you, is that he gets you out in the flats and turn something where, he might be double covered out there, and then all of a sudden make a juke step and he's getting 10, 15 yards down the field very quickly because of his speed and his agility and his ability to just elude tacklers out there is amazing. And then they went, as you remember, in the draft, they got Jalen Wright as well. And you have another one of those similar types of players. Yet I don't understand why you have these game breakers on your roster and yet you don't utilize them as much as you should be. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Wright, all these guys.
Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, Tua Tagovailoa. Maybe you got too much weapons. Maybe you need to simplify. Maybe that's our problem.
But here's the thing is that if you have all these game breakers out there, someone's going to be fresh at all times. And then we know the defense is not going to be fresh.
No, Calais Campbell's 39 years old, playing almost every snap.
I mean, I just don't understand how you're not utilizing the game breakers that you have on your roster better. You take the fresh guy out there going against the tired defense, and that's what should be every single time going out there. Boom, another first down. Boom, another first down. Boom. It's not happening. You should be creating mismatches, and that's where a coach comes in, is to see what the other team is doing and try to turn it into a mismatch.
When you have ton of weapons and you don't feel as though your weapons are being utilized, who's that on?
It's easily on the coach. I'm sorry.
Back after this.
WQAM Miami, WPOW HD2 Miami, WKIS HD2 Boca Raton, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-7473.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored Post-Game Edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Fins game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
In our YouTube and Twitch comments, Menu quotes the late, great Cardinals coach, Dennis Green. The Cardinals were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. We knew exactly who the Arizona Cardinals were. Kyler Murray, he's going to make some plays with his feet. He's going to throw some passes, hopefully make a couple stupid passes. Didn't do that. 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. You knew they were going to try to grind it out a little bit on the ground with a great runner like James Conner. He was okay, 20 carries for 53 yards. You knew they were going to throw to Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the game. He was fantastic. 9 receptions, 124 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., they figured some things out with him today. 6 receptions, 111 yards, and that 1 touchdown bomb. And then you knew they were just going to try to hold on because they're not the best defensive team. They were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. How do we let them off the hook? Bad snaps, fumbles, back of the end zone, getting first downs with 4 minutes left and not getting first downs after that, mismanaging the clock, and then at the end, just letting them not drive down the field, but move the sticks, get into field goal position, kick a field goal, and to be honest, I'll say it, steal one from the Miami Dolphins. I felt as though the Cardinals stole this one. I mean, we let it get away, but I felt they stole it too. We're going to hear from my cousin Vladimir Lewis in just a minute. He was in the locker room. He was at the game. Also, we're going to hear from Mike McDaniel in just a little while. I'm telling you right now, put the kids to bed early if they're really young because Mike McDaniel sounds like this one hurt a little more than normal, and he's not holding back as much anymore than he used to hold back. He's a little more pointed in his post-game words. And I want to hear from you. 305-567-0560, 560 WQAM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? Damien from Hollywood.
Damien, what's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Couple points. I agree with a couple callers a few calls ago. Until the fans stopped putting money into season tickets. I remember when they used to fly an airplane over the stadium to fire Jeff Ireland. That worked out. The other thing, too, I think was the turning point. We were up by 10. Tua fumbled the ball even though we scored after. I don't know why they didn't stick with A-Chain as the running back because more so, as you can see, he gets you the tough yet, but A-Chain had a flow going. And I think that last drive, when we made the first down, the game became too conservative. I think everybody's figured out the Dolphins now. Mike McDaniels is not a good coach. I remember when the Lions used to be the laughing stock. Look what the Lions have done today from 3 years ago to now building through the draft. Chris Gray does not know how to draft, and I had no expectations today. Why? Because it's the same show over and over and over and over. And until you make a change, there's nothing is going to change. This system is too buddy-buddy. Mike McDaniels brought the marriage with Tua in terms of the head coaching, and they, go sign him to a 4-year extension. It's too buddy-buddy right now, and Chris Gray is comfortable. He's been there for 9 years. So what do you expect? Stephen Ross, yes, he spends money for teams, for players, but he doesn't really care about this football team. He just cares about filling that stadium with concerts, with Taylor Swift, Formula One car racing and so forth. But until you make a change, nothing is going to change. Dan Day, I want to ask you a question. If Miami beats the Bills next week, I will personally mail you a gift card to buy you a drink at Funky Buddha. What do you think?
I'm 100% for that, man. I'm telling you, if the Bills win, heck, you just come on by Funky Buddha Monday night at around 7:30, and I'll get you and I some drinks, man. We'll have ourselves a good time.
See. All right.
I'm all for it. Do you think the Dolphins have a chance against the Bills next week?
No, they don't. Nothing is going to change because and I think too that last drive, I don't know if Tua can read defensively. I can see the blitz was coming, but it's just like it's the same thing over and over. I mean, A-Chain had going, man. Why
did.
you? And then Tyreek Hill, you got to get the ball to your receivers. Yes, the running game is working, but I think what has happened, every game we see more and more exposure of Mike McDaniels. This playbook has gotten everybody around the league knows how to play this team. There's no more creativity, and he's not a good coach. And Tua is making McDaniels right now.
And that is one of the things we have sort of learned, that a lot of people think that it's Mike McDaniel's system and that it's made for Tua, and it's, Mike McDaniel being the genius and Tua being his puppet, when it seems to maybe be kind of more the other way around, where Tua is really the talent and the guy that makes everybody else look good. And Mike McDaniel's kind of propped up by what Tua's been able to do, because Mike McDaniel couldn't scheme his way out of a paper bag the past couple of weeks.
That's correct. And I think, too, having no backup quarterback, it's too much of a buddy system, man. When you have a buddy system, nobody's accountable. He could get there and do all those car salesman talk and all the thing on the podium, but nothing is going to change. This GM's been here for 9 years, 2 presidential cycles. He might be here for a third one. What is going to change unless you drastically do something and get what you need to get? We're watching this, a merry-go-round. What do you do with a merry-go-round? Just different people get on the merry-go-round, and what happens? Does it go forward? It goes round and round and round.
You don't go anywhere, that's for sure,
there
man.
You go. And we're not going anywhere. This season is OVR, Dandy. What does OVR spell? Over.
I got you on that one, Damian. But then again, look at the bright side. The offense is starting to move in the right direction with Tua. Maybe they go in and they get one against Buffalo, and then you and I are drinking Funky Buddha beers the following Monday.
All right, we'll see. Thanks, Zach.
I'm cheering for it, Damian. I'm cheering for it. Hey, look, crazier things have happened than the Dolphins going into Buffalo and getting a little bit of payback. 2 weeks, Tua's back. I thought the offense looked good. You know what? I'll say a couple things that need to be said. I thought the offense looked good. I thought the play calling was good. I thought the offensive line was good. I thought the defense was not so good. I thought, like Damian said, and Grieper has also said, I thought De'Von Achane, they didn't ride the hot hand enough. Raheem Mostert, I think he's still hurt, to be honest. I still think he's a little bit hurt. He's a little bit banged up. He's got an upper body problem. He's got some issues. I think that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I don't want to say grossly, but for the most part, have underperformed this year. Whether it's the ball getting to them or them getting open, I don't know. But I'll say this. When you get paid, expectations come with it. Is that fair? And last year, it was the greatest show on surf. You can't expect that every year. I don't know.
Yeah, but shouldn't the coaching actually open it up for those players to be successful, though?
What do you think?
You would think that they'd be making some play calls, because we know the past couple of weeks that Boyle, Snoop, Skyler, those guys aren't going to get the ball to Tyreek and Waddle conventionally. You're going to have to scheme it up to get them the ball.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was night and day. It was night and day seeing Tua Tagovailoa quarterback today as opposed to the past couple of weeks. The ball was out, and even the announcers were saying, like, the ball's out so fast, so quick. He's even throwing it before they make their turns, the receivers. And you saw, God bless them, Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson, just sit there, happy feet, looking around, scared, not throwing the ball right away, not being decisive. Tua was decisive. Tua, I thought this, oh man, this is another one that's going to sound, this has been his best game all year. He wasn't great against Jacksonville, although he threw for 300-something yards. He didn't look sharp. He definitely didn't look sharp in the half a game against Buffalo. Today, I thought he looked pretty decent.
Except for the rust. The mistakes on the ball handling.
Yeah, a couple mishandles right there. And another point that needs to be fair. Now, Tua, you're making a lot of money. So once again, the criticism comes with it. It seems when the situation gets big, he and Mike McDaniel get a little bit smaller. When we need first downs against Tennessee Titans last year, no. Today, after that first down to Jonnu Smith, no. Guess who I had confidence in today, though, when they needed a third down and 3, what they were going to do? Kyler Murray, I had a feeling he'd find a way to get it, whether it be through the air or with his feet. You think Patrick Mahomes You watch Super Bowls where it's 4th and 2 and Patrick Mahomes has the ball. You're like, well, they're going to get a first down. Nobody's betting against that. Tua and Mike McDaniel in some big moments have not been big. And guess what? You guys both got the money in extension that, well, Tua won. I don't know if Mike McDaniel was campaigning for that. But with that, you know what? I have the right to say that. I believe that. Now, maybe you can argue with me. I don't know how you're going to argue with me that Tua and Mike McDaniel come up big in big situations, but they've kind of been small in big situations, but they're still getting a big paycheck. I don't know. Today, that was a team that you were better than, that you should have beaten, and that you let them get away. You let them be the bigger team in the bigger moment. You were the smaller team in the bigger moment. That's a problem, because that means, what are you going to do? Go beat up on the New Englands and Jacksonvilles of the world, and then anybody, and anytime a game gets tough and tight, you're just going to wither away?
Unfortunately, you don't get 17 of those a year.
Yeah. And even if you do, guess what? That 18th game is going to be a playoff game against a pretty darn good team. It's going to know what to do. That's scary. And the more and more I talk about it, the more and more it scares me that maybe we have a problem with the big stage. There's no hope for that. It's hard to teach. It's hard to teach stepping up in the big moment.
Although I do remember Tua doing that in college. He just hasn't done it in the pros.
He did do it, most notably in a national championship game, cold off the bench in the second half at the end of the season for the national championship. Pros is a different game, but offense looks good. Let's go into Buffalo. Maybe Josh Allen throws a couple of picks. You know, he can throw it out. Although this year he's been great. Did you notice that? He hasn't thrown an interception this year. I'm not even kidding. I want to say, you know, and I want to say Josh Allen has not thrown an interception this season. Let's see. No, he's thrown one. He threw one in the first game against the Seahawks. That's it. So maybe Josh Allen throws a couple of picks. Tua keeps the offense rolling. A little bit of revenge on their mind. You get a win. That still puts you at 3-5. With a lot of tiebreakers that you've lost to teams like Tennessee and stuff like that. And, you know, the Bills. But you still got New England and the Jets twice. Once again, in the hierarchy of things, you'd rather be a Dolphins fan than a Patriots or a Jets fan right now. Although the Patriots did beat the Jets today. Who's the worst team in the AFC East? No, the worst team in the AFC East, I would say it was New England, right? Might be another team. Speaking of that other team, up next, we're going to check out my cousin Vladimir Louison. He is leaving the stadium. He was at the game. He was in the locker room. We're going to find out more from him next here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
Yeah.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Shocker. Hard Rock Stadium. Dolphins lose 28-27. I did not see that coming until about the last minute or two when the Cardinals got the ball back. And I said, oh, man, they're going to make a drive and make a field goal and win this game, aren't they? And that's sure enough what they did. Don't know what it was like at the stadium, but I do know someone that does know what it's like at the stadium. He is my cousin. His name is Vladimir Louison, and he is joining us right now. Vlad, were you one of the people yelling when Tua took off for that run? Slide! Slide!
Greet and Dan Day. Let me tell you this right now. I probably will get kicked out of the press box because I was screaming, slide! Slide!
We don't need that extra yard!
And you got to know, because where we were sitting at, he's running towards the end zone where, we're right behind him. So we see it. Listen, he had a lot of grass open to him for run. But the minute he got 6-7 yards, it was a slide, please slide. Nobody in the stadium wanted a risk or an attempt of him being hurt again.
Yeah, you could hear it verbally. You could hear it on TV. It's a big crowd. A lot of times you just hear, slide, slide, slide. It's like, wow. And I was saying it myself, so I can understand that. Was everybody just kind of shocked? Vlad, I feel shocked. I'm not even angry. I'm just shocked. I did not see the Dolphins losing that game.
Dan, I think everybody left the stadium did we really lose that game? Did we lose? Because if you really think about it, this was probably the ideal situation the Dolphins wanted to have. Tua looked sharp. The running game was effective. The ball was getting to the receivers, to the playmakers. And offensively, you started to see the Dolphins team that you saw last season and that you've seen in the previous 2 years with Mike McDaniel. But they couldn't stop that Lilliputian, man. They couldn't stop him. That guy he's so elusive, and his connection with Marvin Harrison, I'm talking about Kyler Murray, it gave Anthony Weaver's defense problems, especially in the second half.
Vlad, as good as the defense has been, do we need to start worrying that this defense doesn't get to the quarterback and get a lot of sacks, nor does it get a lot of turnovers? Is that maybe one of the reasons why we're having so much trouble this year?
It is. I don't believe Kyler Murray was sacked at all game.
He was not,
and because of his elusiveness, he's gonna extend plays. And you really think about it, the Cardinals only had three playmakers other than Connor. That was Marvin Harrison Jr., their tight end McBride, and running back James Conner. I think they did a good job limiting James Conner, but McBride and Marvin Harrison, big plays, third down, and it seemed like they were hitting the sideline passes all game. I don't know if it's something that they saw in the scheme, but they were hitting the Dolphins with sideline passes, and they were getting them and continuing to move downfield. And it's just a weird. I just don't really understand how they lost the game. Can't blame the offense, right?
No.
Do I blame the defense? I mean, I guess I could blame the defense, but defense has been doing such a good job. If I got to throw blame at somebody, it's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, that's the thing I was talking about. I don't know if you heard the previous segment. One thing I'm starting to notice about this team, and we've talked about it in indirect ways in the past, is it seems like when the game gets big and the stage gets big, Mike McDaniel and even Tua to that fact get a little bit smaller.
I will say that about the head coach. I don't know about the quarterback as of yet. He is still coming back from concussion protocols. But Mike McDaniel, even put it this way, Kuzan, even when the first down to John, was it Janu?
Yep, that's the one. The reversal of the call.
He took forever. He should have put that on the. He should have put that red. He should have challenged that immediately. Put the red flag down. He played scared. It was like, should I? I don't know who the Dolphins guy upstairs is on all the challengeable plays, but they need to get somebody better.
Well, the argument was two things. Number one, he was trying to give his guys time to review and see if they should challenge, but also there is a rule in the NFL where they will call for that, so you don't have to use your challenge. So he was waiting to see if they would have done an official NFL challenge as opposed to having to challenge and maybe possibly losing a timeout. That was the talk on TV. That was the guesstimation that they were throwing out there.
I don't know, because we were all trying to figure it out because we were like, he looked like he got the first down. The ball was extended. We all know the yellow line isn't the actual first down, but
right.
He looked like he had the ball past the first down marker. And just some of the play calling.
So
some of the play calling.
That was with 4 minutes left. Why did everything go wrong after that play?
I don't know. I can't, for the life of me, I don't know. Because it's like, I'm telling the guys in the press box, I'm like, they need to score here. Like, they need at least a field goal. Don't leave this a 2-point game with the kicker that Arizona has. That guy has a leg. He hit that 57-yarder, and he had like 10, 15 more yards to go. So that's why it was very important after that first down that you got, run the ball or get the ball to your playmakers, have the clock milk the clock, burn time off.
Vlad,
okay.
Did you notice that they did not burn clock? They were snapping the ball with 30 seconds left on the play clock, and the game clock was running.
Yes, it just made no sense. Now, could the play to HN, that screen, he had if he completes it, he had nothing but just green terrain to run it, and probably might have iced the game, but they didn't convert, they didn't execute. And then now you're going to put the pressure on the defense. And defense did nothing. Well, everybody, let me tell you this. Then did everybody not know that Kyler Murray was going to keep the ball on that third down?
No, we all knew him. We've been talking about that all day. I had every confidence that he was going to find a way to get that first down. If it was 3rd and 3, that he was going to get it most likely with his legs.
Right. And he got more than 3. He got 6, 7 yards. It was just like, it's over. And then now you're looking at it like, okay, the offense finally scored over 20 points this week. I mean, for the first time in a long time, since last season, since the Jet game, maybe? Or was it the Cowboy game? It's probably the first time they scored over 20 points since that Cowboys game, right?
Yep, because I think that was 24-22 last year. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird game. It was a weird score.
And we scored 20 to open the season, but we did not go over 20. That was 2017.
So it's the first time the Dolphins have scored over 20 points since that Cowboys game last season.
It felt relief when we were scoring.
HN, right?
He's great.
They were running the ball. Like, I don't get Miami's the most frustrating team where they can run the ball, but they don't run it enough to milk clock, to extend drives, to do all of that. They don't do that, and because they don't do that, the clock doesn't stop.
Run, yeah.
I mean, the clock stops, and teams have chances now to win or score, and that's what's happened repeatedly.
Vlad, you were in the locker room. We're going to hear from some of your interviews in the next segment, but what was the general feeling? Was there anything that you took away that really kind of stood out to you from any player or just generally in the locker room?
Yeah. I thought the locker room was pretty upbeat, to be quite honest with you.
Really? Well, because they scored points?
I mean, obviously they know they're 2-5, but it was upbeat because, I mean, they saw Tua. They saw Tua play. The offense looked like it got some of its mojo back. The swag was back. They were shocked. Like, how did they lose that game? Because if I tell you everything that the Dolphins did, you would have thought the Dolphins won.
I still think the Dolphins won for some reason.
You would have thought the Dolphins won, and then you're like, they lost the game. Like, literally. You look at everything. You're going to talk positive, and then but end up saying, "Oh well, the Dolphins lost the game."
Wow, I'm just looking at it right now. Total yards: Cardinals had 389. We had 377. Passing yards: they had 307. We had 227. Rushing yards: we had 150. They had 82. And then
so my thing is this: look at the balance that the Dolphins had offensively. Now the 300, like, even though Arizona outgained the Dolphins, that's because Kyler Murray had to throw the ball. Remember, the Dolphins were up 20-10, so he's gonna have to throw the ball.
Right.
he's gonna throw the ball. But if I'm looking at if I look at the game, the offense was balanced. Tua was completing passes. He was accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Playmakers were getting the ball. And if for the life of me, I'll never understand. If a team rushes for over 150 yards, there should be no reason for you to lose.
You look at the stats, and they're pretty even, though. First downs, 22 each. Time of possession right there, pretty much at 30 minutes each. This on the stat sheet looks like it should have been a close game, and it was, but it just did not feel like a close game. It felt like the Dolphins were the better team that was winning the whole game and should have won.
It always felt like the Dolphins were the better team, but the fact of the matter is they never really separated. Once that was a 20-10 lead, the safety's really – that safety, now obviously it's going to, in 2020 hindsight, it comes back and bites you in the ass, but it was a smart play by Tua. That way, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to make a play. Just get the ball out of the end zone. Just take the 2 instead of trying to make a play, not get the ball, and now it's a touchdown. But if that was the only mistake that was the key mistake, because think about it. That's why they lost.
Yeah, they lost by 1 point. Did you see on the snap, did you feel as though it was a bad snap? Did you feel as though Tua could have caught it? How did you feel about that whole situation with the safety?
I just thought it was a bad snap. It was just a little too high. And I mean, I'm not a quarterback, so I don't, there's so many things that's going in your mind and everything like that. You're expecting even some of the most basic snaps get fumbled by quarterbacks.
Right.
Geno Smith fumbled a fourth and goal in this Buffalo game that I happened to see a highlight. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just a weird game for me I was like, damn, they lost? Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, if I see Tua back in his first game, mind you, and he's not the Tua from last season, but he was sharp.
He was sharp.
And you saw how there was just a different swag with the team.
Yeah.
Like the team really, there was a different vibe with them. Like they got their guy back. I remember walking into the stadium, you hear the music blasting in their locker room. Like it was a different vibe, a vibe that I haven't heard or felt in quite some time. And, they drove down the field. I believe they scored on the first drive, if I'm not mistaken.
That was Raheem Mostert walk in the end zone. Right.
So you got 2 touchdowns by Mostert. You had Achane with a touch. Like this was the recipe for a Dolphin victory. And you're looking at it, you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, can I put the blame on the defense? Yeah, there's no rush. There was no rush. Nobody got a rush. There was like Kyler was in the pocket, and when he had to get out the pocket, it was easy for him to get out the pocket.
I felt as though we got our Dolphins back this week, but we didn't win. I think that's why I'm so mystified.
And, you just wanted that win, because, I mean, you just want to stop. I mean, you stopped the bleeding with the Patriots victory, but it was just a short stop. You know what I'm saying?
But you got Tua back, and now everything's in its place, and we can go on with our season, and we can win some games, and we're in a terrible division, and we're going to be okay. And then that happens.
You know what, Cousin? I'm going to tell you what it is. Just like the team that I root for, maybe the Jets, maybe we thought this team was better than they actually are.
Yeah. Well.
Maybe we thought Miami was better than they actually are. Your record, like I got the famous Bill Parcells saying, your record is what your record is.
Yeah, you
and
are.
The Dolphins right now and the Dolphins right now are a 3.
2-5.
No, 2-5 team. I'm sorry, they are a 2-5 team right now, and that's what they are. Like there's no denying it. They're a 2-5 team with a tough road game next Sunday against Buffalo. I don't know. They said we asked the guys in the locker room if every game is a must win. They said every game is a must win, but schedule doesn't really seem to get any easier to me. And I just feel like you messed up. You played around in the first couple of weeks. They were winnable games. I know it was backups and everything like that, but this is when you got to start looking at. Forget the players now. You got to look at the coaching staff and the general manager, because there's certain teams that have injuries and that we're still able to win and still able to produce and, hang in there. Mm-hmm. And the Dolphins haven't been able to do that without Tua under helm the last couple of years. And it makes you see how important, he's so like we knew he's important, but I didn't know he was that vital.
He's
Like,
worth every
vital.
penny that we paid him as far as what he did on the field. Maybe not with the health issues, but man, he's worth that money.
Yeah. Yeah, no. He's vital. He's worth every penny to it. And it's like, he's a very good quarterback. Tua is a very good quarterback. But man, I didn't know how important he is. Like, when you want to say valuable, when we talk about valuable, he's the most valuable player on that team.
I mean, he might be the most valuable player in the league, it seems like, because that team does nothing without him, and they look like a totally different team today, man. But, Vlad, we appreciate it, man. We're going to hear from some of your audio that you got in the locker room, see how the Dolphins players are feeling. Have a great one, man. We'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Vlad and I right on lock and step right there. What happened? What happened? Try to figure that out, and we'll hear from Mike McDaniel. He'll explain what happened, right? Maybe. That's coming up right here on Game Day Uncensored, 560 WQAM. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're not feeling good today. You had a game that you should have won, could have won, did not win. You let it slip away to the Arizona Cardinals, who are now 4-4. If you want a silver lining, they kick a field goal at the very end of the game to win the game. Getting to the playoffs is going to be a tough road for the Miami Dolphins. Now, granted, they're in a bad division. We will get to how bad that division is and the teams that are in it and how bad they are. But you got to look at what you've done so far. You barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars with the last second field goal opening week. The Bills dominated you. Seahawks dominated you. The Titans, let's be honest, dominated you. Patriots, you won by a toe. Colts beat you. Now you've lost to the Cardinals. So now you have to do some winning. Well, you go to Buffalo next week. Then you go to Los Angeles on a Monday night. We'll see. The Raiders, that's possibly winnable. Patriots, that's winnable. Green Bay, Thanksgiving night. Doesn't matter who Green Bay puts a quarterback because they have a system and they have a coach that tailors his scheme to the talents of the personnel. What a concept. You get the Jets, they're bad. You get the Texans, they're going to beat you. The 49ers, most likely going to beat you. The Browns, I would say that's a win for the Dolphins, but now they got Jameis Winston and not Deshaun Watson. You don't know. And then you get the Jets at the end of the season. I do have a dream, though, that things start going right. And that last game, let's just, the Jets and the Dolphins get things going right. Although today the Jets getting things going right took a huge hit. But for that game to be a win or go home game, man, ooh, that would be so sweet. I'm praying that the Dolphins are in a win or go home game on January 5th against the Jets. If that's the best outcome for this season right now, I'm just a little down, Tyreek Hill, my cousin Vladimir Lewisson caught up with him in the locker room after the game. Was he a little down? Was he a little up? How was he feeling? Well, of course, the first question he was asked is about Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, he came back, got the offense going. And that's a beautiful thing to see, man. We scored some points today, so it's a positive, man.
See how everything was going. How much does that sting that they were able to pull off?
That sucks, man. Every time we lose in this league, it sucks. They're a real good football team, but at the end of the day, I feel like we obviously are a better football team. We just got to put it on tape, though. Like as a team, though, not just one player. Like we got to play 11 men on the field. Everybody got to play for each other, play for your brother, and at the end of the day, it's got to mean something to you, bro. Like it's got to, man.
Reek, you get the first down on that last drive. You figured you want to take a shot there. It seemed like it was very conservative there at the end.
Hey, my job isn't to call plays. My job is to do what's called. And man, at the end of the day, if something is called, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go 110%. And that's what I tell all the guys, man. The coach calls a play. Like it's our job to make it work. You know, we got everybody back. We got Oos back. We got some dynamic playmakers to make it work. So, if coach calls it, let's make it work.
It seems like there were two more guys. Two more.
Yeah, I use this one. I bet.
Two more guys. It seemed like there was a play called there to make a difference, and it just didn't happen on the little screen pass.
Yeah, it was. Went back and watched it on tape. Obviously, there was a play to be made, man, but they get paid too on the other side of the ball. You know, those guys got a great defense. They did a good job of, shutting us down whenever their team needed it. So, props to them.
At 2-5, is Buffalo a must-win next Sunday?
Oh, each and every week is a must-win. Like our mindset was a must-win this week. But next week, 24-hour rule, we're going to move on, and Buffalo is a must-win.
Yeah, I agree with Tyreek Hill. Every game in the NFL should be a must-win. I'm not going to read too much into it, but he was real quick to snap back and go, I don't call the plays, I just play. Kind of made a point a couple times to say he's not calling the plays. He said we got to do our part. They call the plays. We got to make them work. It's a very symbiotic relationship. I like that. But he was very quick, though, Grieper, to say, I don't call the plays.
I thought the comment that at least surprised me was he goes, I watched the tape and I'm like,
how?
Wait a second. We're what, 10 minutes after the game and you already watched the tape on it?
Yeah, man, that Tyreek Hill's dedicated to his craft, man. So by the time you walked off the field, the coach addressed the team and, you changed and got ready. You had an iPad out watching the tape, or at least of that play. That's yeah. that one kind of startled me too right there. But yeah, but Tyreek Hill does not sound like a defeated man. If there's a positive to glean from that.
Although, as we do know, they do have the iPads on the sideline that maybe they watched it
Probably
there,
was, yeah.
probably before the game ended, but still, I mean, it's like,
And Tyreek Hill's not known for lying.
No, never.
No, but he did probably watch it on the sideline.
But I'm assuming he watched it then instead of back in the locker room. But still, that was the comment that surprised me, along with the watching the replay of it. But hey, we don't call the plays. We just do our best to make them work.
Yeah.
Well, your best isn't good enough right now, is it?
Yeah, man. I know that Tua underthrew him on that one bomb pass out deep, and then Jalen Waddle dropped a pass too. So Devon Achane worked hard though. They were out there, they're trying, man. They were swinging. He just came up a little bit short. We're gonna hear from the coach next, and we're gonna close out the show. We got about 20-30 more minutes with you right here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
Is live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Dolphins lose today on a last-second field goal, 28-27, to a team you really thought they were better than, that you actually think they kind of outplayed. Timing is everything. And a lot of the blame, not just to Chris Greer, not just to Stephen Ross, but to the coach, Mike McDaniel. He spoke with the media after the game. Opening question was basically like, you guys are injured and vulnerable at certain positions. How are you going to progress with the season? And Coach McDaniel got a little bit salty.
I know one thing that, pardon my French, but no opponent that we play the rest of the year will give, we're 2-5, disappointed, and it's frustrating. I thought there was positives and negatives to the game, and it's magnified because we put the situation we've put ourselves in. So, situations like that, you're as tough as it is. It has to be. You have to immediately take your energy towards the next game while learning lessons from this game. I thought we had absolutely every chance to win it. I think collectively there was some, we always play really hard. I thought there was more execution, but there was critical mistakes that, I think it was tough to overcome. One of the stronger games I've seen by a quarterback in Kyler Murray. So he made a lot of plays for him, and we can't put ourselves in that situation as a team.
You guys were blitz heavy. It wasn't all that effective at times. Do you think that maybe you guys blitzed a little too much today because he was able to kind of break it down?
No, I think that was kind of the game plan going in, and the stress that you put on coverage, and you try to be effective in rush lanes, and when I think the hindsight is 2020. I did agree with our game plan going into it, and in those situations, the guys know that it does put a high priority on guys that are free and have a shot at the quarterback, that you have to really rely on your technique and fundamentals, especially with a guy like that. So, I'm sure when I look at the tape, there'll be, a handful of plays that we'll talk through, Weave and I. But for the most part, I thought guys were in position to make plays, and there was just some critical ones we didn't make, and they did. And that's how you score more points than the opponent.
How would you assess Tua's first game back?
I thought it's kind of what I expected. Did a real good job on third down, but collectively, I think the bigger thing was that we had a little bit more of our brand of football that we felt that is probably a silver lining if we weren't sitting at 2-5. So guys didn't really care about, when I tell you they've been all in on winning, and falling short is hard for everyone. But we would have taken 3-2 as the win. So, but you can't, there's no silver linings really in this loss. So it is testing us for sure. I am very, I feel good about the human beings we have, I feel like we've been going all in with each other each and every week, and it still hasn't been enough. But the answer is not to take the foot off the gas. It's to take a hard look, which it'll probably be a pretty rough tomorrow. But that is what it is. We have to fix it. We have to get the win. and there's going to be moving forward. No team is going to, frankly, give a shit about our problems.
What occurred on the mishandled snap? Tua was saying he should have caught it. Was that all?
Yeah, I think if you ask both of them, Brew would say he should have taken a little steam off of it. Tua said he should have caught it. But bottom line is backed up. We can't have those type of issues. You can't just give free points to people. So collectively, I think that, the way I like to handle it is, all right, we can't go in shotgun or pistol backed up until you guys tell me you can. So, as competitors, they'll take that challenge. They know, and Tua's hand-eye coordination's outstanding. So he'll be up for the challenge, but you can't expect to win a close game. That ended up being the difference in terms of points. But it wasn't just that play. There's a multitude of things that ended up in points. Not connecting and settling for a field goal on the 70-yard line earlier. Those are things that they add up. So hard lessons, and they have to be lessons learned if you want it to change. And so we'll have an opportunity to do that. It'll be a long week, but we get what we deserve.
How did you feel about how Tua protected himself out there? And did you have any talks before the game about his approach or afterwards?
I think Tua had his mind. I think the time this season on this team, it really left an impression on the residuals of his decisions. We had talks leading up to it, but I think the biggest thing was that he knew his teammates were gonna give him a chance to play a pretty clean game. He had a good amount of clean pockets, and then when he didn't, he was decisive and kept himself out of harm's way. And I think that's big for our team as we try to get through this rut.
Did you adjust anything from a game plan or play calling standpoint to try to be more protective of him, or is that just on him?
No, I mean, I think that's it's always been part of my job, and seeing how there was injuries to the quarterback, I think 4 games into my tenure here. I think that's kind of old hat. We just kind of play our ball, and you as a coach, you make sure that you either have the protection or you have opportunistic situations for the eligibles to get people open in the time of the play. So he can do what he does, but I wouldn't say I even really. I don't think you can do right by a football team. If the guy's playing the game, you have to. You can't really think about anything but how do we move the ball and score points. So I thought it was good for his teammates. I think the team felt this was at times it was more of a picture of what we had envisioned the entire time for how we play football, but it wasn't clean enough to win, and that's the big takeaway for me.
Significant at this time, is that accurate?
Yeah, I don't I don't have really all the information on it, but we'll find more out, but it didn't seem, but I really would be talking ignorantly if I forecasted anything. I'll find more out tomorrow.
2-5 going into this team has had issues in the past.
Yeah, it's a significant challenge. kind of reminds me of at this point I can't remember the what the streak was. Maybe it was 2 games or 3 in 22, and we had that night game. I think the biggest thing is that you have to understand that all the heartbreak you has to go into your next opponent. It's the next opponent. It's and it's a division game, and I know we have all the reason in the world to have 110% invested in it, and so that's what my expectation will be. That's I think it's rough. 2-5 is rough, but in any NFL season, you can't really take what your record is at this stage and extrapolate. That's where you get causes for concern. You have to go take your best game and try to win one football game. And I think that's a really cool football place to play. And guys, if they're not, I think we have the right guys. If they weren't motivated for this one, they would be the wrong guys, and I'm not nervous about that. Just want to make sure that all of our energy is put towards what we're able to do, not what has been done.
Going back to protect himself, what was your reaction during that scramble in, I think it was the third quarter, and when he actually got down and slid?
My reaction was I think he's going to get the first down. I'm pretty sure what he's going to do, but you never know until it happens. And it was what I forecast he would do. But that he's when he's mindful and not trying to run defenders over, he generally is able to stay pretty healthy. So I was excited that he didn't hesitate and that he was very convicted in how he approached space, found space, and he got himself down.
Now that he's back, he was almost untouched today.
I wouldn't say relieved, because that would insinuate that I was nervous about it. You try to football is football, so you just try to put together a best plan that players can execute. And I think that that's part of the coach's job, is to put guys in position to succeed. And for him, he does very well when he's able to see the field, and we protect well. There was a lot of, I think the player ownership of our team, receivers running routes, beating bump coverage, and the offensive linemen executing the protections. I think the players took it very personal in terms of their job and their responsibility to the team and to play effective football. And bottom line is, if you're giving up quarterback hits or sacks, you're probably going the opposite direction of where points are. So I wouldn't say relieved. I would say that the game played out in terms of that circumstance kind of the way I envisioned. I just envisioned us in the win column, not in the loss. But no one cares about my visions.
Playing without Sealer, and how long do you foresee you have to do this?
It's a very challenging. It's a big part of our team. However, I think that there's a lot of guys led by D-Hand, but a lot of guys that were up for the challenge, and just feeling his energy. Talk about Zach, and in the locker room just as we left. You know, he will be out as no longer than his body, like as soon as his body allows, he will be out there. I wouldn't envision it being too long, just based upon his vigor, and you know, he didn't like not being able to affect the outcome of the game, and we are a better team when he's on it.
No surgery needed.
Yeah, no, he's I wouldn't be prepared totally to handle that question. They're working through some things, but I leave that to the experts.
Mike McDaniel post game, a little salty, saying some cuss words, saying they just need to be better. A lot of coach speak coming from the coach. What more would you expect after a bad, shocking 28-27 loss? Washington Commanders almost had to learn a lesson from the Dolphins today. They're outplaying the Chicago Bears, but they're only getting field goals. They're up 12-0. And lo and behold, when you let a team hang around, what can possibly happen? Well, the Bears get a huge run from DeAndre Swift. It goes 12-7. All of a sudden, Caleb Williams decides he is a quarterback. He was playing terrible, by the way. They get all the way down to the goal line. And then what do you do if you're the Chicago Bears and you've got Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift, who's been running the ball over the place? You hand it off to the fullback, but not a true fullback, a defensive lineman that is playing the fullback position. Of course, he fumbles. Washington recovers, and now Washington is trying to ice this game. Also learn a lesson from the Dolphins. Commanders, if you got a chance to get a first down or two with about 4 minutes, now there's 6 minutes left, go ahead and get those couple of first downs and ice this game. Dolphins had trouble doing that. They've had trouble doing that in the past too, which we pointed out throughout. Let's get some quick scores going right now before we leave you tonight. Remember when I was telling you the Panthers, they're up 7-0 on the Broncos. Watch out. It's the Bryce Young revenge tour. Well, they've given up 28 points in a row now. They're losing to the Broncos 28-7 with 2 minutes left in that game. Oops. The Chiefs, they're not out of the woods yet. We could be popping bottles tonight. The Raiders, Chiefs, one of the greatest rivalries in football. Chiefs are up 27-20 with 2 minutes left. Oh, like I said, the Bears and the Commanders. Commanders 12, Bears 7. Ooh, Commanders are playing with fire, not putting away the Bears when they should have. And now the Commanders are going to be punting, and you never know what the Bears are going to do. The Bills and the Seahawks, I thought this was going to be a knockout, drag out. Well, somebody got knocked out and dragged out. It was the Seahawks. The Bills, our next opponent, 31-10. You want to talk about Josh Allen? 24 for 34. 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he threw his second interception of the year. We've got 2 interceptions all year. Zach Sealer has 1. Emmanuel Ogbah has 1. That's it. No turnovers today. We didn't cause any turnovers. And 0 sacks. But then again, Kyler Murray, let's give him credit. Very nimble, and he hadn't been sacked now in 3 games. It's easy to see why. That guy's magical with the feet. Pretty magical with the arm, too. Had over 300 yards passing. Not good for him. Whoo! You think your quarterback sucks? Saints know about that. Spencer Rattler. Grieper, you have the Chargers defense. I said, don't sweat it. You got to go up against Spencer Rattler. No problem for those Chargers. 26-8 final score as the Chargers defeat my New Orleans Saints. So both of my teams lost to the Dolphins and the Saints. At least one team was able to score double digits. Surprise. It was the Dolphins. Had trouble with that lately. Spencer Rattler. Whew. Justin Herbert, 20 for 32, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Saints team that is honestly fool's gold that they started 2-0 in the season. Falcons, I still think they suck, but they beat a Buccaneers team that basically has anybody that they can sign to a contract. They got so many injuries, 31-26. Detroit Lions are for real. 52-14 over the Tennessee Titans, who are not for real, even though they beat us. And by the way, that game was tied at 14. So do the math, 52-14. Woo! It's about almost 40 unanswered points right there. Oh, Mason Rudolph, by the way, was the starting quarterback too. Texans, they're pretty darn good. They beat the Colts, who we lost to last week, 23-20, closer game. The Bengals, I'm starting to worry about them, Grieper. I told you they're going to start slow, but they're going to be fine. Well, they got pistol whipped by the Eagles today, 37-17 in Cincinnati. The Browns, Jameis Winston starts for Deshaun Watson. The fans said, we want Jameis, we want Jameis. They got him, and they got a win against a good Ravens team, 29-24. Patriots, Jets, they both suck. Patriots suck less, winning 25-22. That's right, the Jets lost to the Patriots. And the Packers, Malik Willis, backup quarterback, no worries, we got this. 30-27 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tonight, you got a classic Sunday night game, Cowboys and 49ers. Then tomorrow, you get the Giants and the Steelers at 8:15. But today, caught the L at the last second, too. 28-27. Dolphins could not get a first down with 4 minutes left on the clock and 3 sets of downs to get it. Devon Achane did not make the catch in the flat. We punt the ball, and that's all she wrote. Kyler Murray found a way with his feet, with his arm, with whatever he had at his disposal. And man, Marvin Harrison Jr., he burnt us at the end of the game. And they get that last second field goal. That is a 28-27, just in case you're wondering, a 34-yard field goal. So it wasn't even like they had to really stretch their legs out there. We lose 28-27. It's on to Buffalo. You want to look at the bright side? Wait, that's not the bright side. 2-5 Dolphins team, although they do look better on offense. Head to Buffalo, in Buffalo. We know how that usually plays out. We'll hope for a different outcome. Let's do it again next week. Grieper, let's do it again next week. 4 o'clock, 4 to 7:30. Let's make it a tradition right here. Are you good?
Good.
I didn't know if you had a concert or not.
Hopefully the team will actually perform better.
I think we'll be all right next week.
We don't need any more performance anxiety around here.
Right. You hear enough of that throughout the day on this radio station. I think we'll be better. I can't promise anything, but I can promise you we'll be here post game. This has been for Robert Grieper. I am Dan Day. Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM.